Are we live?
I am
Sean's
muted. Welcome to Advantage in Paradise, everybody. It's funny as I was muted, I was saying, "Hey, I think we're finally getting a hang of this going live thing." Uh, apparently, we aren't. But welcome everybody to another episode of Advantage in Paradise. It should be an interesting one tonight after last week's epic battle with more insectoid dragons and mantid Thrykeen. But before we get into that, a few announcements as per usual. Our audio, our music is provided by licensed music through soundstripe.com, and all of our ambiance is provided by Sirenscape. So please go check those out for your own gaming needs. Now, before I get into the game tonight, I'm going to turn it over to Shannon for some announcements as well as some shoutouts.
Yeah, thank you, Sean. First of all, thank you, everybody. We hit 2,000 followers on Twitter. Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for getting us there. And in celebration, we're going to be doing a surprise giveaway tonight from Arcane Spectacles, our amazing partner, one of our amazing partners. So at the break, I will have more details for you, including what keyword to put into the chat. So stick around for that. Speaking of Arcane Spectacles, their Kickstarter goes live on Wednesday. Wednesday at 8 a.m. Eastern is when their wooden spell trackers Kickstarter is live. So if you have not signed up for their for the email to get notified when it goes live, make sure you do that because you are going to want to get in on this Kickstarter. Let's see what else. We are also working on some Paradise themed products with them, so stay tuned for more information on that. Some of their amazing latest products include AC trackers, HP trackers, and Pathfinder 2E spell trackers. And if you would like to purchase any of these beautiful items, you can use the code Paradice in their Etsy shop for 10% off. So thank you, Caitlin and Jared. We love you, and we're so excited for your Kickstarter. Next, we have Talon and Claw, the maker of beautiful wooden TTRPG accessories. They are making really good progress on their Whiskey Barrel dice vaults. They shared a picture of them earlier today. If you have not checked that out yet, make sure you go look at them. They look amazing. And I love that no two dice vaults are the same. So go check them out if you haven't yet. You can also enter the code Paradise for 10% off your order if you'd like to purchase anything from their Etsy shop. Our next partner is the Underground Oracle Publishing. They are the creator of wonderful D&D 5e supplements. We just gave away Quarterlies Volume 1 and 2 earlier today for reaching 2K followers on Twitter. So thank you, Keith and Jess, for letting us give that away. Our lovely Cal uses the Prongs of the Black weapon in our campaign, and Sean is working on incorporating more. So we'll let you know when we incorporate more of their amazing content. And be sure to sign up for their Patreon if you haven't yet to get access to all of their awesome content. Last but not least, we have Eddie York, who is the official character artist for all of our heroes. Alex worked with him on the character cards you will see scrolling in just a moment, and he did all the art that was on the waiting screen with the whole team there. So he's so talented and so professional and wonderful to work with. So if you are in need of some quality art, definitely hit Ed up if you can. And I believe that is, actually, Clay had something he wanted to talk about. We got some new content coming. Go for it, Clay. You're muted.
Am I on the screen right now? I'm usually just in the background playing with my camera at this point.
I don't know.
Hey, everybody. Just wanted to let everyone know that this Wednesday is the start of my new show. We're calling it Cardboard Contenders, and I'm going to have a bunch of friends, and we're going to play some board games. Have some fun, get real salty at each other, and maybe teach you how to play some good old-fashioned strategy games.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah, I'm really excited for it.
So yeah, folks, our schedule of content is growing bigger and bigger every week. Looking forward to the return of the Tim and Shannon Power Hour next weekend. Clay, when is your Wednesday night show start?
Yes, Wednesday
night,
7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 7 p.m.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. So make sure you check that out this week. And then also check out the Relaxing in Paradise on Thursday nights and the aforementioned Tim and Shannon Power Hour on Sundays. All right, folks. So thank you for that, Shannon. I guess we will jump into tonight's episode. In the cold rain, shrouded in the darkening forest, with choked, poxed air, you found yourselves following two new friends last we met, or so you believe, following them to share in food and shelter. Elspeth, the forest gnome, a rambunctious woman, light-hearted and jovial, she led you for a few hours through the thicket of trees. As you followed her, behind you shortly followed her companion, Taramran, the forest furball, a hulking and muscular figure who chewed over his words carefully with stoic eyes. Soon, you found yourselves up on the plateau of a cliffside, forestry still clinging to these cliffs, and a shallow pool had formed from a brook in the center of this plateau. By this pool stood what remained of ancient ruins, including the foundation and lower levels of an old tower in the center of the pool. Beyond the waters, amongst these ruins, stood a massive tree that stretched high above the canopy. Beneath its thick and olden roots, a sanctuary hid. You followed your new guide beneath the cold iron earth to find a place of beauty and warmth. A large cavern system home to all manner of fey creatures. Packs of blink hounds, small communities of vegipygmies, pranks of pseudo-dragons, birds, bats, plants, wispy spirits, all sorts of beasts and fey called this cavern home. You learned that Elspeth and Taramrand tend to these wayward creatures, for they are refugees of the decaying Feywild, lost, injured, and in need of rescue. You learned that the local Thrykeen, the manted creatures you had fought in the forest, have been growing more aggressive in their quest for territory. They once remained up in the bluffs of the deeper forest, but now they come down with their dragon pets, their insectoid dragon pets, to lay claim to more of the forest. Hesitantly, you shared why you came into this woodland realm. The search for Timber's kidnapped wife, supposedly held at a Highland Syndicate facility deep within these woods. After some jogging of her memory, Elspeth said she knew of this place. The creatures avoid this place due to the horrible lights and the scarred earth all around it. But even more so, since in Elspeth's words, the big boom. Not 3 weeks earlier, some sort of explosion or boom had happened in this facility that echoed through the woodland realm, creating or intensifying these small rifts in reality that if, in the words of Elspeth, if you're lucky, lead to the life-giving trickling waters of the Dagda, the Ashkeeper within the Feywild, where the Font Mother, Dun Numalor, guards his decaying branches, the last vestige of the old Feywild. But more likely, these rifts would lead to what is left of the rest of the Feywild, pocked with parasitic life, spores that infect and spread as far as they can, corrupting life around it. You also learned of some of the creatures within these halls. Primarily one figure, a large giant, much larger than Taramran, the Furbolg. You learned this individual's name was Belug, and that he was one of an ancient race known as the Fomorians, who were once the guardians of the Feywild. You learned this because Elspeth hinted that he was as old as these forests and potentially lived all the way back to the Morsir conflict. But trauma and tragic memories plague his people, and they rarely speak, let alone tell stories of their history. Over a mantis dragon stew, you discussed this agreement to help one another, potentially. Elspeth shared some kind words with those of you in turmoil before agreeing the next day to show you where the facility was, in exchange potentially for some help from you once everything is said and done. After finding your places to rest, Timber asked Huron to go meditate outside, to see if he can find the answers that Timber admits he cannot give him about the wild beast that rages within him and the mysterious dark owl that guides him. There, on the still shores of the small pond, Huron, using Timber's incense, meditated upon the night sky, as he often has before. It was shortly thereafter that the dark owl appeared before him, perched atop these ruins. He asked the creature questions, and it gave cryptic answers before fluttering closer towards him, stopping just short. It was in this meditation that Huron was shown visions of a place known as the Sulk. Huron did not know what he was seeing, but he saw some sort of community hidden away in in the mountains somewhere. Furthermore, he was shown cryptic visions of his homeland and the broken moon of Ilyvania, before he found himself coming out of the visions at the screeching of a new manted draconid in the distance, heading towards the facility, or towards the sanctuary. With little thought to it, he retreated back into the sanctuary, the Fae Sanctuary, the home for misfit Fae, in order to warn his compatriots that something was coming. At this point, you all prepared yourselves for some kind of fight. Several of you rushing outside. Actually, before he had run inside, the creature showed up in the. He had sent Taramron out, and Taramron was searching for the manted draconid. When you reached the outside, you found Taramron shifting into his giant griffin form to fight with this mantis dragon, as several of you made your way outside. The rest of you staying inside to defend the Fae creatures from burrowing fungus zombies, of course, that were infiltrating the underground sanctuary. The fight raged on in the rain and the night, as you all eventually made your way up to the surface to join the fight against the Draconid, including the Fomorian Balog. You all surrounded this creature, fought off its mantis allies, and finally defeated the creature. But in this defeat, Balog, the Fomorian, had suffered some sort of attack as he began to rage around and thrash and knock several of you off into the water before Scarlet, standing tall and confident, rushed out in front of the creature and beckoned it to calm down, to know and remember that whatever pain it was suffering right now, that it would pass. More speaking to herself, one might say, than to the creature, before it slowly dropped its club, and Taramron rushed to his side and began meditating with the creature and calming him down. Looking across to each other, it's still the dead of night, the rain pouring down all around you, the sounds of the nightlife calm now. You all look to each other, and that's where we left off.
Nice job, Sean. Only 9 minutes.
Ooh, under 10. Okay,
You're getting real good.
Yeah, I am getting a lot. I actively feel better about it. Anyway, you all find yourselves out in the night, the rain cascading down your armor, panting heavily. Some of you swimming out of the pool, although feeling some mild sense of rejuvenation while in the waters, which you eventually make your way to the shore. Scarlet, you kind of collapse to the rock for a moment as you watch Taramran sort of muttering something, his head pressed against the head of Baelig as he kind of caresses his shoulder and head, trying to keep him calm. What would you all like to do?
I'd like to ask the DM how to spell Fomorian.
Absolutely. Let the DM just make sure he has it right. Fomorian.
Well, I don't like
I
that.
was so close.
I had it right.
F-A.
I was hoping that he wasn't a part of the. Never mind.
I had PH.
Yeah. Fomorians from the old Irish Fomore, modern Irish Fomoran.
Yeah.
Fomoran.
Anyone who's a Dresden Files fan knows that they're not so good.
But and in typical D&D, they're not so good either. But I am portraying them more tragically than corrupted.
That's fine. That's good. Carry on.
Anyway.
Wiswick walks up to his water elemental, gives it a big
That's
wet
right.
high five, and it dissipates.
Oh yes, and that's something I forgot to mention. His water elemental did get the kill on the mantis dragon, despite missing like 15 out of 17 attacks for the rest of the battle. In a very epic fashion by exploding it from the inside out. But your water elemental kind of looks down at you, just sort of, and then as you dismiss the spell, unless you want to keep it up, it dissipates.
It's been up for what, like a couple minutes, or?
I'd say, yeah, a couple minutes.
It does last an hour. I don't think we'll be getting into any more combat, but
It is also like a souped up version, since it was coming from the Fey sapped water.
All right, well then maybe I'll keep it. I give it a high five, and it lifts me up and puts me on its shoulders.
Excellent. Okay. The rest of you, what would you like to do?
Huron.
Oh, go ahead, Kieran.
I was just saying, Huron also has a magical entity, his spiritual weapon, that he bows to gracefully. He says some stuff in Elvish, whatever your mind thinks of, and let's leave playing. I just want
Dissipates.
to moment too.
Absolutely. It dissipates with a lunar sparkle. Scarlet.
After a minute of just like kind of just like breathing heavy and reality coming back, she'll descend from the rock. Am I gonna have to get in the water to swim to get back to shore, or is there like a pathway?
There's no pathway. You'd have to swim short.
All right. Well, then I will do that. And I'm sure my leg is paining me at this point, so I will try not to use that leg as much and kind of use more of my hands to swim.
Yeah.
And then get back on shore and make my way back down into the shelter.
Okay. Are most of you just returning back into the shelter?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Timber is going to help Cal collect his swords, and after he's
Yeah, I threw a bunch of those, didn't I?
You absolutely threw a bunch of those.
and,
If I'm not mistaken, Timber, you acquired a short bow last game.
Yeah, I acquired one of the short bows and a quiver of poison arrows, I assume.
Correct.
And we'll be presenting that later on.
Of
but
course.
not now. Let's go back inside. I need looking out the wounds that he has, at least. Let's go take a rest. We're done here, I think, from now.
Cal nods and goes back with him, and I'm holding my stomach as I do. Just also kind of like grumbling under my breath.
Yeah.
Wet
No.
dog fur.
No full night's rest for all of you ever, seemingly. As you all start to slowly limp your way back to the opening into the sanctuary, Elspeth is standing there by the door. Kind of, she had run out and shouted at the end of the fight, "Don't hurt him," about Balog. As you see, she's just sort of. You see her kind of scurrying and climbing the roots of the sanctuary to get to what you would consider the rooftop of it. As you see her just like this radiating, jade-colored magic coming out of her hands. As you see several of the roots start to grow and thicken and start to repair anywhere where there's any dug out parts where the zombies had scurried in, and reinforcing the general area. As she looks down to each of you and just says, "Well, it seems your arrival is blessed by the fun, Mother. Thank you."
You're welcome.
Orders, can
I
we
think-
go inside?
Please go ahead. I'll be in shortly after you, but I think the Terramron will trust you now.
You might want to get him to install a door around here. Could just help out, you know.
Well, we'll take that into consideration. Please get some rest. Me and Terramron will take care of the rest of the night's watch.
All right, thanks. Yeah, I'm pooped. That sounds like a great idea.
She nods
sure you're
to
good?
each of you.
I say, like, not nodding at her, because actually I didn't take any damage, so.
You see, she's not like she's hurt, but she's shaken because they've never. You surmise this is not a typical thing to happen. An attack directly on their sanctuary, just by how shook she is by it. She's like, I'll be okay. Yeah. I mean, if you just gotta keep if you're well enough, appreciate a weathered eye while I'm preparing. But rest of the night we should be okay.
I'll stay up at the entrance and keep an eye out. I won't like range or anything,
Yeah.
because I suck at that. So.
Of course. The rest of you descend down into the sanctuary. Cal, you would see slowly but surely Terramron soothes Balig back into a state where he can lead him back. You see him kind of leading him through the water, where the water barely comes up to the waist of Terramron, of Balig, and Terramron has to swim. But slowly he brings the Fey giant over. And you watch as he kind of makes eye contact with you as he passes and leads the giant into the large opening. And he just sort of gives you a quick nod of appreciation before descending.
Kieran, are you going to put on Vanya's hut?
Yes, of course. I shall watch over you to make sure that you're not a danger to anyone else on this night.
Thank you.
And he'll start the ritual for Vanya's tiny hut.
Okay, you could definitely do that. What are the rest of you doing? Just bedding down for the evening?
Wiswick also beds down. He curls up with the pseudo dragons, if that's possible.
It's very possible, as they kind of are curious of you. Regardless, you kind of don't shoo them away when they kind of come up to you, and by the time you really are, the adrenaline's leaving you, and you do find your rest. You notice a few, like one of them, kind of like nuzzles up close to you and curls up like a cat, right next to you. You notice that same Vegapygmy that was looking through your stuff before is just sort of watching from over like an old log, just staring at you, kind of. But it's relatively peaceful, as you can see. The sort of wispy lights seem to all kind of slowly move towards the central tree, where they find kind of deposits within like knotted holes in the tree. They still glow, but the light is dimmed significantly to a very calming, restful lighting. All the creatures seem to be finding their rest as you notice Terramron leading Balig over to his corner where he has all of his belongings. So, I imagine you all are sort of resting close together in that sort of back corner that was designated for you. Are you all staying within the Ilivania's tiny hut, or is it just Timber and?
Unless anyone asks, Huron's not inviting anyone else. He's just setting it up for him and Timber.
Okay.
Yes,
Wiswick.
oh, go ahead, Wiswick.
Oh yeah, I'm comfortable with the pseudo dragons. Maybe I'll just summon what do you call it, Jet, to keep an eye out for us.
Absolutely.
Basically, he's just gonna hang out at the top of the cave.
Yeah, Scarlet she'll still be near the group, but she'll kind of like just keep her distance.
Okay. Cal, by the time you come down, you would notice all of your companions resting for the evening. You would notice Emla is found her spot, but she's sort of awake, and you see her kind of similar to you doing the like evening. All right, check this, check this, check this, check this, oil this, sharpen this, maintenance for the evening. As you see, Robert is kind of getting the horses finally to rest, as they were still startled by this point, but they are rested, and he's finding his own restful space. If there's nothing else anyone would like to do, you can rest for the evening.
I think I would do a check. I'm gonna check on everyone, including like I'll knock on the hut and just poke my head in. I'm not gonna invite myself in.
Yep.
But just like look around, make sure everyone's good, and then bed down.
I like to imagine Cal's head just like he knocks and like Huron allows him passage through the wall and his head just sloop. Oh, you guys good? Okay, cool. Have a good night.
Basically, yeah. Except more serious.
Of
Yeah.
course. I also don't know if that's how the hut works, but who cares?
I'm gonna say that's
It
how it
d-
works in this world.
Nice. Cool beans.
You can definitely activate and deactivate who's allowed in. Okay, so in the very now dim light of this sanctuary, you all find respite one way or another. Those of you not within the hut, you find whatever space you can. It's kind of like sleeping in a barn, this space. There's no beds. There's just sort of patches of soft grass or other things that are suitable. Definitely simplistic and, befitting a druid's sanctuary. As you notice Taramron starting to do patrols throughout the interior, checking on each of the different members of this menagerie. You occasionally see him float a hand up as you see one of these wisps comes down and lands in his hand, and he goes into the deeper tunnels that you all have not explored. But slowly your eyes sink as you're all exhausted from this fight, and sleep finds you.
Sean, what are our dreams?
It's great that you mentioned that.
Okay.
Oh,
Timber.
damn it!
That was good timing. Timber. You stare up at the mercurial translucence of Ilivania's tiny hut, just up into the stalactites above, the roots writhing through, thinking about everything that's happened over the last few days, the last week. Slowly but surely, your eyes grow heavy. You feel safe like you did when you first entered this place and when Huron calmed the beast within you. And you find sleep. For a long time, you rest in the darkness. But then suddenly, you feel a sharp pain in your chest. You try to pull your arms to grasp at it, but you're restrained. You open your eyes, You see nothing but darkness. Then slowly, four fires light around you, starting with red burning light, shifts to green, to blue, purple, back to an unnatural red. Not the orange of fire, the warmth of the warm orange of fire, but a menacing red. As you just hear that familiar voice inside your head. In this nightmare, you thought the priest could save you.
What do you want?
You pull at the restraints. You start to look around and you start to recognize where you are. The light of the fires starts to bring life to the trees all around. And you see at the edge of the fire line, just barely visible, you see several humanoid figures. There must be a dozen of them. And they all have bone masks on. They have these large wolf skulls over their faces, and several adornments all around, with antlers, all unnatural mask, slabs of leathers like a hood, but those bone faces remind you of one place and only one place in all of Gwenvlir, the Gosu Ruination.
Remember at this point would be freaking out and trying to get out of his
Restraints.
Restraints, yeah, sorry.
Okay. As you start to pull on them, you hear just sort of this low moaning and low chanting from the humanoids all around you. You now recognize the stone slab you're on.
He's gonna yell once more. What is it you want?
You will never escape me. The priest cannot help you. I am your shadow.
They only have one shadow. That didn't answer my question.
To that god you cannot pray here. I only seek freedom. Stand. And you feel the restraints burn away from your arms.
He sits up slowly, looking around his, like, the nearest escape route or something, or where this beast might be talking to him from.
As you stand, you suddenly sense that this voice is still coming from within you. The fires they brighten as soon as you stand up, as those figures seem to step closer to you. And you notice one coming right for you with this axe. And it comes in and it goes to swipe at you. And as you pull up your arms to block it, it just dissipates into ash. You sort of look around, panicked, and you hear the voice just say, "You searched for control." And then you see suddenly the forest dissipates around you as you see a sunset start to bloom all around. And then you see in the distance the sulk. You're on a cliffside with a path leading directly to the sulk. As you just see your old home. You start to remember things. You start to remember your brother, your sister, your father. What do you do?
Probably still hand on his chest, looking up at the cliffside towards his home. Probably take a couple seconds to gather himself, be like, this is just a dream. How did I end up here? Okay, and then he's going to get up and slowly make his way up the cliffside towards the sulk.
Okay. As you start to walk towards the sulk, the road to the sulk seems to stretch and elongate. With every step you get closer to the sulk, it gets further away. And as you're stepping, you start to notice the soil beneath your feet. This sort of dirt path starts to become muddy and hard to walk through. As you look down, you see it's not water muddying this path, but blood. As you hear the voice return into your head, and just say, "How many brothers and sisters and mothers and fathers did you kill in service to this god?"
It is not important. It is for... Why do you need to know? And how do you know?
I see your mind. I am your essence. We are one.
I don't know. I still don't understand what you want.
Freedom.
From what? From what? Why are you in me?
As you continue walking, you kind of turn and start shouting to nothing, or beckoning to nothing all around, as the muddy soil beneath you starts to grow thicker and thicker, and you start to sink into it. As the thing you see around, suddenly there's sort of a flash of light, and you see flanking the road towards the sulk, you see corpses, 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 corpses that all line the road leading directly to the sulk, where you can see it is burning at this point. As you slowly sink down into this, clawing to try to stay up, you see nothing but darkness, taste nothing but blood and dirt. And suddenly, it gives way, fall. You land on hard earth, surrounded by the dark silhouettes of buildings. You see a light in the distance. A pillar of light in the distance. A single form lays in the ground there. What do you do?
Why do you keep showing me what you're showing me? And he's gonna take a look at his complete surroundings first after getting up off the floor, while still holding one hand on his chest. Coughing up some blood and dirt. And slowly make his way towards the light.
Suddenly, everything around you blossoms once again. the light, the sunset growing as it feels like the earth shifts and this spotlight is now up a hill. And behind it is silhouetting the sun itself that is providing this golden sky. As you smell familiar farmlands around. You smell the wheat fields around Cabello. You start to notice the short palisade walls around. In your search for control, you thought love would banish all your fury and fears. In self-imposed exile, you sought more than this god.
That's it. No, stop it. And Timber at this point is going to just try to smack himself awake.
As you're sort of grasping at your head, kind of trying to get this entity out, still walking towards this singular entity at the top of this hill. As you feel the sun setting in the distance and everything growing darker. Within your own darkness, in your own darkness, they came. On a dark road, they dragged you to the depths of some place. Yet you still pray to this god who did not protect you.
He can't protect everyone at all times. No god is perfect.
We can be perfect. And you know this echoing sound of this voice you've heard before, and at that you truly heard the anger in its voice again. When you said that no god can be perfect, it shouted back at you aggressively, "We can be perfect." And everything continues darkening around you except for that point in the distance.
As long as... Who are you?
I am your shadow.
That is not an answer. I feel like I'm talking to Sean.
You are.
I am.
Now you know how Josh feels in our home campaign.
Yeah, I do.
But this voice, you're now starting to hear that chorus of voices that you heard when you were on the road, and as Curon was helping you calm this creature. And now they start to sound like people in your life. This entity is tapping into your thoughts and mind and memories. You just hear the sound of your brother. If you knew the risks, why would you leave? And the sound of your sister's voice. You left her all alone. With the children. The sound of Bogdash's voice. It's your fault.
Stop it.
Ascend the hill, and it will all be over.
you want to be perfect, why did you choose an unperfect vessel?
I chose nothing. But you are what I have. I will break you.
You can try. And Timber's going to ascend the hill.
As you start to ascend this hill, the sun is darkening to it's like an unnatural darkness and grayness is choking the sunlight as you're ascending. And it's growing harder and harder to ascend as the ground's seeping into blood, as it seems there is a steady flow, a little brook of blood pouring down this hill as you're stepping up. And you hear those voices again in your head. You knew what you were taking on when you left the Sulk to start a family. Who are you? Why did you do this? Why did you leave them? This is your fault. You killed her. You push through this. But when you ascend the final precipice of the hill, the choking dark dissipates. You see a familiar altar to the one that you were on the start of this journey. A single body on that altar. You're somewhat blinded by the last inch of sun as it's about to descend beyond the horizon.
He's gonna quicken his pace to get a better look as the light dissipates, while still holding his ears like not true, not true, not true.
And it's with this not true, not true. You drop your hands and look down, and they are Kaze, not Timber. All manner of your transformation is not there. You are human. You step up, knowing what you are likely to see. As you see the lifeless body of Reyna on this altar. Cold eyes staring off into nothingness, slumped over. And in your mind, you hear that voice return. Now that you've found her, she's so far away.
Not true. All you fed me is lies. I cannot. Whatever I see in front of me is not.
Your moment will come through your darkness. Inside still beats the heart of a beast.
Mind really rattled at this point after seeing the body. He's gonna walk up and just touch the body and just just as like sanity check, and it's like,
Yeah.
I haven't seen her face.
100%. And as you kind of block out the sounds of this creature, you drop to your knees at the side of this altar and cup her face in your hands, your human hands, your what was before the beast. Just sort of caressing her cheek and holding her head in your hands, and just sort of, not true. that last bit of sunlight dips beneath the horizon, and everything shrouds to darkness around you, tunneling to her face. As that voice echoes in your head again before, now that you've found her, she's so far away.
I did not find her.
There's sort of this discordant mass of those voices. Every person in your life, your brother, your sister, your children, your in-laws, Curon, Scarlet, Wiswick, Cal, all in a discordant chorus, screaming, some and accusatory, all shouting in your mind at once. I'll need you to give me a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, good. It's a dirty 20, actually.
That's what you needed.
Oh god. Oh my god.
As you start to scream at the sounds of these voices taking your mind, the darkness taking and absorbing everything around you, you force yourself to remember good things, warm memories. You think about the first time you held your twin children in the village of Cabello. You think about training Bodasha. You think about before your father went missing. Before your mother died when you were young, everything light. You feel a light in your chest, even though you don't see it. And you suddenly wake in Iluvania's tiny hut. The dim lights of the will-o-wisps, the sound of rain outside. It was a nightmare.
He's gonna look over at where Curon is. Deadpan sleep? Or is he just like meditating?
Kieran, I will give you the choice for this to either be your 4 hours or not your 4 hours. Would you like to be asleep or would you like to be awake?
Kieran would have gone immediately to sleep, so depending on when you had, if you have this happening earlier or later.
I'm going to actually roll for it.
Okay.
Also because I have to get my dice that are over here.
Nice.
So I'm going to roll a d6. 1 through 3 means that you were awake, and 3 through 6 means that you're asleep. It's a 3. So I'll say this is happening in the latter half of the evening, when you were awake, doing whatever you wish, whether it was keeping an eye on timber or other meditation.
Kieran actually would have been preparing to ritual cast divination.
Okay.
Because I believe I picked up more supplies when we were in that last town.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Yes, you did.
Okay. Yes.
Sean, did I wake up with blood and dirt in my mouth?
The iron taste of blood for sure is in your mouth. And there is a light thrumming pain in your chest remaining. But thankfully you made your save, because otherwise you would have not gained the benefits of your long rest tonight.
Ooh.
Okay, great.
Good to know.
Yes.
But you would awake, and Kieran, you would see him as you're kind of preparing your supplies and prepping your spells, reading whatever books you have, and you look and you just see Timber kind of come rising up out of his sleep, sitting up, kind of in a panic.
Yeah, no, he'd be like huffing and puffing.
And seeing him, Kieran will say, Timber, are you yourself right now? Is everything okay?
Bedroom. Yes. Okay. And he, as he looks over at Kieran, he's gonna have some tears coming out of his eyes.
Kieran. Oh,
Yeah, I need to take a walk. I'll be back.
of course.
And Timber's just gonna take a quick lap around before coming back.
Inside or outside?
Outside, actually. Until like if there's any danger or something like that, he's gonna come right back in. But he just
Of course. There isn't any danger. Timber, you step outside, kind of immediately feeling, since there is this clearing by the pond, you can see the rain is much more intense now. You can see the vibrations of the little pool. You feel the rain on your fur and skin, and
yeah, he's
just
just gonna
trying to-
stare at the pond.
Yeah.
For, like,
I
10
would
minutes or
say that
something.
you do notice two things. One, when you left, you noticed sitting above the archway of the exit, Elspeth is just sitting there, sort of in her own meditative, cross-legged stance. You see she has this big staff on her hands that kind of gnarls up into a flowering plant at the top, and her eyes are white over, as she's just sort of muttering in her breath in Sylvan, which you understand. And it's just and it's strange for you because you're like, and it's a reminder of what's happening, and it's disconcerting, but she's just saying, in the shadow of the Ash Keeper, Danya Malor watches over us. In the shadow of the Ash Keeper, Danya Malor watches over us. We're all reborn in the thought of Mother's school. As you slowly step, unless there's something you want to do there.
No, he does not. He kind of just wants to walk by, but slow down to hear what she's chanting or meditating on.
And then you kind of come to the edge of the pool, somewhat collapsed down, kind of up to your knees, looking out and feeling the rain. As you would see on the ruined tower piece, as if tonight couldn't get more cryptic, it's just the dark owl who's watching you from that central steps.
Even though it's raining, the rain's gonna blend in with his tears, and he's just gonna bow his whole body, like on his knees.
Yeah. And you kind of, in that moment, you at first were kind of like this, looking up to the night sky, and then you descended your eyes upon the owl standing there, perched high up, so you're looking up at it, and you just slowly but surely reconfirming your commitment. Drop yourself.
It's actually more of a like a slouched bow. It's like he's on his knees, and then he just kind of hangs his head.
Yeah,
like
less of a full bow and more just
not like acknowledge, like it's like
it's a somewhat exhausted bow.
It's not really a bow. I've bows.
You're not really bowing to the owl. You're just exhaustedly dropping.
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Excellent. So you exhaustedly drop your head, slumping your shoulders, as the owl disappears into the night. You're left alone in the rain. Huron, are you
That's
looking?
me.
Are you looking to cast divination tomorrow, or during your 4 hours that you are awake at night?
Well, I mean, he would cast it in the morning, so it's, the day of.
Yep, that's how the spell works. That's right. Okay. So Timber, you stay out there for quite a while, sort of exhausted and numb, but also feeling a lot, before eventually lifting yourself to return inside. Is there anything you'd like to do before attempting to rest again?
No, he's just gonna, all wet, just go back into Ilyavanya's tiny hut and just collapse
Yeah.
once again.
Huron, without words, Timber returns, soaked to the bone, from outside, as he just collapses to the ground and turns his back to you. You can tell he's somewhere else at this point.
Kieran whispers a little guidance of Ilyuvania to him. Find peace in the night while you still can. Twilight, watch you, friend.
He doesn't respond, but he thinks that. Thank you, Kieran. That's what he thinks. He doesn't.
Oh, actually, no, never mind.
Read thoughts. Were you gonna cast read thoughts?
No,
I want my
Kieran does
goddamn
not know
compliment. Sorry.
Oh.
And then cast divination if that's cool.
Yeah, so Timber, you kind of it takes you a long time and you hear Kieran muttering his prayers behind you, but it takes a while, but eventually, more so from exhaustion than actual rest, you slowly sink into a loose, uncomfortable sleep. And Kieran, you would notice that frequently for the next 4 hours, Timber would just jolt awake in the half awake state before slowly coming down, not unlike the Fomorian outside. But Kieran, you may cast divination.
All right. Praying to the Crescent Heart, Kieran asks of her, "Oh, blessed Ilyuvania, guardian of my people, I ask you now, in our efforts to help our friend Timber, will we find and rescue his wife? This Highland Syndicate camp where the big boom happened. Just to be specific, because I know how
So you're asking if you will be successful in finding and rescuing his wife at the Highland Syndicate camp where the big boom happened.
Yes.
Actually, it was specifically the big boom.
The big boom.
Tied together so it
that's-
explodes more.
I'm
wouldn't
gonna
wanna mix it up with the
give you
actual
I'm gonna
big
give you your omen, but that's an awful lot of things to make it more cryptic.
Yeah.
Specificity might actually be working against you here, but you lay out your offerings, your specific incense and other things that must be ritually placed in the shape necessary before being offered up and consumed by your sacred flames. As the smoke of the sacred flames rippling with twilight magic and light, and for the first time in a long time, you hear a distant voice. Broken, but coming through clearly in your heart. Less of a direct, intelligible voice saying words, and more of a feeling that comes through in a warm way, but that warmth's trickling of divinity over you is solemn, sad, mournful, but conclusive. You can take that as you wish.
A tear falls down Kieran's face as he goes, more to himself, but if Timber, maybe, whatever, he goes, I hope we know what we're getting into. That's that. Pat.
So as that sort of smoke drops and the light dims in the hut, and you whisper what you whisper, looking over to Timber, you find a meditative state to await your allies waking. To await your allies waking. With that, soon morning does come. Most of you are awoken by the heaven pillar-like lights coming through some of the roots of this hollow. As the space is still dim, the wisps coming out, but every now and then pillars of heaven descend down from above. As you all awake, what would you like to do?
You know, I've been meaning to talk to them about this Pillar of Heaven thing. It doesn't seem good. It seems a little too, apocalypse-y.
At least it's not a pillar of autumn.
Oh.
No, we'll get demonetized.
Yeah, we will. All right. Okay. I mean, we decided last night that we were gonna hit this camp up, right? So
And then we're gonna schlep it on over.
Cal is gearing up.
Okay. Robert
was
is getting the horses all saddled and ready, kind of with Cal as he's getting ready. The rest of you.
I'm preparing my spells. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry.
Wiswick is reading his wizard's book tome, getting his spells ready, as there's just a pseudo dragon kind of like every now and then walking on top of his book and laying down, much like a cat would on. And he shoos it away, but then it kind of just flutters onto his shoulder. Wiswick, give me a quick charisma check.
Ooh, I like this. I like where this is going.
Come on.
It bites you and breathes fire in your face.
Come on.
It horrifically burns you magically, so it can't be healed.
Right.
Charisma +0. I
Wiswick
got a
fails.
13.
A 13.
Yep,
That's
unlucky
really
number,
good for
but
you.
not bad.
The pseudo dragon kind of coughs a little, and a little bit of faint fire shoots out and singes your beard a little bit. But it's not aggressive. It's literally like a cat coughing up a fur ball, but it's coughing up a fireball. And it just sort of pops a little in front of you, and you.
Is it a Norwegian Ridgeback?
I mean, essentially, but blue and purple scales and these bright, glowing pink eyes, and like a unicorn horn on it. As it then kind of like jumps up on your shoulder and crawls around to like do that cat thing where it lays on your back of your neck, just hugs the back of your neck. Its tail draped over your shoulder. It's
Like a
head
pseudo
draped.
scarf.
Exactly. As you prepare your spells, as you hear it purring next to you.
I one hand flip the pages, and the other hand I press to digitate to be warm, and I like start stroking its back.
Excellent. Scarlett, you had something.
Yeah. I would go over to Kieran as we're getting ready to leave and say, do you mind if I borrow your stuff while we're walking?
Of course. And Kieran goes over to Rocco, who he pats affectionately and is like, hey, sorry you almost died last time. Gets the staff off the horse to hand to Scarlet. And he'll be like, this was my mother's staff that she passed down to me from blah, blah, blah. And, and he starts like rambling about his people and culture, but that's not.
She's half listening.
You hear him like talking about the traditions of the cloister of shepherds and like a certain type of meditative dance that they perform with these staves and glaives. As you're sort of half distracted and kind of taking the staff, you look over Scarlet and you do kind of just like get a glance over at Baelig, the Fomorian, kind of leaning over that fire with that quilt almost draped over his shoulders. As you see sitting across from him is Taramran, who's just sort of looking at him with his hands clasped like this, concerned.
Do we have time before we leave?
Yeah. It's like any other morning. You guys are probably going to eat some breakfast and head out, so there's some time.
Okay. I'd like to go over to Taramran and ask him, is he alright?
He'll look over to you and kind of almost coming out of a state of meditation as he was staring at him. Chewing his words, his very like Tamron's eyes seem very small for how large his head is, but it makes them all the more stoic as they look to you. As you see, his face is just is almost like a gnarled tree, with like almost like he's taken a lot of beatings in his life, like a boxer in the later stages of his career. A lot of just puffiness and scar tissue.
Cauliflower.
He definitely has cauliflower ear. As he's just like, I don't know. We can never know. We can only try.
Do you know what?
Say that again.
Do you know what comforts him?
Warm drink. And song. Best we can tell. As you can see, the Fomorian has that large basin of space sap that he's just sipping at.
Asking Terran, do you mind if I speak to him?
He kind of looks over at you and looks you up and down. After last night, please do as you wish.
So I'll step closer to Balig and not too close because I don't want to scare him, but I'll ask him, is that woman on? Indicating his drink.
You see he kind of quickly sort of head kind of darts up to you. You can see kind of like the quilt comes off a little. You get a close-up look of the purple skin. It looks like he is essentially bruised on his entire body. Like no inch of his body is not bruised. And then there's just these occasional pustules and pock marks. And you see like his jaw is somewhat off. Any hair has been long lost. There's these wrinkles under his eyes that are ancient looking. Like there's not his skin. He doesn't look like an elderly creature, but the bags under his eyes have so many rings to them, like a tree. That even despite the smoothness of the rest of his skin, you can see just eons exist within this creature. As he just sort of one eye kind of swollen shut, the other extremely large and gaping. Give me a charisma check. Or a persuasion roll.
23.
Ooh.
Very nice. And he looks and he sort of... You see him look to Terramrod. Get a feeling they have a special connection. You see Terramrod just sort of... It's okay. He's just sort of... You see he just sort of holds the basin out to you. And you can now see it's stone. This is not like a wooden cup or anything. This is a stone basin, like someone literally ripped the top of a bird bath off to feed him.
Okay. I would gently put my hands around the basin, not on top of his, maybe above his, and produce flame, just enough to warm it up a little bit. I don't want it to make it boiling hot, and I don't want to make the basin super hot for him to hold, but just warm it up a bit.
And you see it starts to radiate soothing clouds of steam, like a hot chocolate, like a hot fate chocolate. As you see, he sort of gives you a nod, his head almost going beneath the basin before he. You see Taramron kind of looking at him. You see, like, Taramron's doing that thing, and hands clasped together. Like, you look at his foot. He's hitting that bass drum with his foot, just bouncing it up and down. As you see the creature kind of.
So many years ago, so many years ago,
What was so many years ago?
when the horned demon Koshan came to our lands at the behest of the Red Raven.
What happened?
He drinks more.
They killed the keepers. Tubani, the Black Eagle, the Raven Queen, is the first to fall. They captured my keeper. Lo, the Wolf Lord, the Silver Fox. They tortured him, drove him mad, and unleashed him upon us. My compatriots died by the hands of their commander. And last they killed the Bear Brothers, the last keepers. I held the line at the base of the Ash Keeper. But we were not enough.
So sorry. It's a tragic loss. Thank you for sharing it with me. I'll keep it safe.
He doesn't say anything more. He just sort of groans. And you could, when he started speaking, it sounded like a voice that hadn't said a word in 1,000 years. You could really tell how ancient this creature is, that he saw the Wayward One's invasion of the Feywild. He was there. There's no other living history in the world besides perhaps the Undying Queen. Queen Ale. These Fomorians, if you could find them, are the last vestige of the memory of the Fae.
Last thing before I'll leave them be, I'll just say, I know it's hard now to remember things the way they were, but it will get better. Muted.
Muted.
Thank you. You see the Fey giant sort of just pulls the quilt over himself, continues sipping, gone. You had a once in a lifetime conversation with the Fomorian. He will likely not speak for another 90, 100 years. As you look and see Taramron, who looks at you and goes,
These memories will not likely fade from him. Unlike you and I, it doesn't often get better for them. But you've provided him with some happiness today. And I appreciate that so much. We will help you as much as we can today. If you are as good as you seem. We best get ready to leave.
She'll nod and walk back over to get her stuff.
Okay. So, everyone is getting their belongings ready for the journey.
Yes, I am doing that. But while I was at the horses, I would have noted, because I wouldn't be able to hear it, but I would have noted Scarlet heating up that basin of water.
Yes.
And I would have noted it, and the camera would have looked at my face, and I would have raised an eyebrow, and then like looked down and like shook my head a little confused, and then go back to do what I'm doing.
For sure. It's that shot of that wide shot from your over the shoulder
Yes,
as
exactly.
as she walks over and does it, and then it's a reverse shot on your face as you're getting the horses ready. You're like, and then there's a punch in on them, and then they'll last return to you, and then it cuts to the scene with them.
Exactly. Thank you, Sean.
Beautiful. Timber's going to actually walk over to Cal. Hey, Cal. I've got you shouldn't be throwing your swords. Here, I picked up this and hand Cal. Do you know how to shoot one of these? And he's gonna hand Cal the short bow and a quiver full of poison arrows.
I'm gonna take it and be like,
use these?
yes, I know how to. I mean, it's obviously not primary for me, but yeah, I know how to use one. I had a little training, and then Sean, I want to do something really impressive with it. I don't know.
Absolutely.
It's like spin around and hit a rock in the air, then like hit it while it's in the air, and be like,
you have very good dexterity in addition to your strength, so I'm going to absolutely allow you. You see, Cal absolutely says in very Cal fashion, "I'm not great at it. It's not primary." And then you see him just sort of like immediately like he attaches, because first of all the quiver is a waist quiver because we're accurate with how we quiver our arrows here. And you see Cal immediately kind of like is holding the bow, and he's just sort of like, all right, that'll do. And then you see him just twirl an arrow into it and just pull back and fire off a perfect shot into like the smallest little knot in the tree.
So, yeah, as I said, I know my way around it.
Timber's just kind of like dumb.
I'm conversational in the bow.
It's like, where did you say you got trained again?
Just I had my master Arlen.
Okay.
He was just hired. He was hired by my parents to teach me, and he did.
Well,
It's not much to it, honestly.
You're a fantastic archer in addition to a swordsman.
I'm okay. He was a lot better, but thank you. And I say, go collect that arrow.
Yep. So for your reference, you have 10 arrows. They are of manted, of Thrykean design, so their tips are barbed. And those barbs are infused with poison that deals an extra 1d4 poison damage.
Okay.
Do they have a Constitution saving throw for getting poisoned, or did they? These?
No, they don't. Okay. These are just the damaging type.
Poison arrows.
The bow constitutes just a simple short bow.
Short bow.
Now Cal can truly be Aragorn. Anyway.
Yeah.
Wiswick. Or Timber, you got something else?
Oh, no, that's it. No, Timber. Click that. Wiswick.
Wiswick.
Wiswick just, when he finishes his routine, he's gonna make sure he's got all of his stuff. a little suspicious of that what's called plant guy who keeps eyeing him over.
Yeah.
And eventually he's gonna make his way over to Elspeth.
Could you give me an investigation check?
Sure. I'm good at these. 7 plus 10. 17. Oh, sorry,
Okay.
7 plus 7. That's my bad.
Okay. Wizwick, as soon as you start to look in your bag, you look over to the Veggie Pygmy little village, and you see they are playing with so many of your things. They are just literally like tossing. You see one of them is literally just sort of like looking at the potion of healing you have, and you see it's like trying to pull the cork out. It can't quite get it. You see they've essentially ransacked your bag slowly throughout the night while you were sleeping. And now you see one of them is trying to hold your shovel, and it's too big for them, and it's about to fall over. You see you see another has your pickaxe, it's just like hitting it into the ground.
Say no more. I cast Minor Illusion, and I summon the face of the most terrifying underground creature that I could possibly imagine from the Underdark. We'll just say it's I don't know, what are those things called? Are they BHI? No, a Behir is what I was going for.
Yeah, it's funny.
Just
I have a Behir mini somewhere, but anyway.
Just basically a dragon with like a bunch of arms, terrifying face, big red floating right above their village, and it's just swirling around in circles.
Yeah, and they immediately all drop all of the things they've taken from you and scurry into their little mud huts as you just see this big, stormy Behir head just sort of over them in a 5-foot square, and they're just sort of like, and they drop all of the things, and you see them vanish as you go and collect all of your belongings. And if you would like, you can collect them all and then go speak with Elspeth.
I do that.
Little leafy bastards. Try to take my stuff?
Yeah, so I go over to Elspeth.
Mhm.
Where is she? Is she still at the door?
No, she's no longer at the door. Once morning hit, she came inside, and you can see her sitting in front of her little hut that's part of the base of the tree that's in the center of the village, and you can see she's just sort of at a cauldron making some sort of breakfast.
Smells good. I know last night must have been scary for you, but we're like I said before, we're good people. We're here to help. I'm hoping that today we can discover what happened in this forest and maybe keep your people safe here. I've really grown liking to your pseudo dragons. They're really cute.
Yeah. I love all these creatures. That's why we take care of them. But you're right, we should be getting on the road soon if we want to get there as quick as possible.
Tell me, you mentioned that this is a place for the wayward ones that used to live in the Feywild. But is that where you're from? Are you from the Feywild as well?
Oh. No. I wish. Or at least I wish when the Feywild was the Feywilds. I've not been there myself. It's just been a long tradition in my family. Started simple. Wasn't even about Fey folk. It was just taking care of the lost, the injured, those who need our help. Before long, my grandmother took pilgrimage up here. Founded this place. With Taram Ron here. He was a young lad then. You wouldn't believe how scrawny he was. We made him real strong. But yeah. My mother returned after going back home, and I was born here. It's hard to maintain that kind of tradition, and especially with our short lives. So, do everything I can.
It's hard, I understand. Um, what is little known of my people's history was similar. We used to be kind and helping to others, but the world turned on us, and I know that can be a scary thing. If it weren't for, well, if it weren't for the strength of others, my people would not be alive today. I'm hoping that we can be that strength for you and your people today.
And I just like, as I say that, I take a taste of whatever she's making.
It's quite good. It's very flavorful. You get the feeling it's some kind of mushroom stew, some kind of wild mushroom stew, seasoned just right. And she smiles back at you and says, "Well, I've never been to the Underdark, but us forest gnomes are few and far between. Honestly, us surface gnomes are few and far between. Not many of us left. I hope that we can help you today, and help your friend there. He seems truly vexed. There's some curse over him that I can't quite see. My vision is blurred by whatever it is that's plaguing him. I'm usually good at these things. But he's a mystery.
You're telling me? I've been trying to figure out that guy since the first day I met him. I still don't even know what he is. Some sort of shifter?
Oh, well, that much is obvious. There's something more going on here.
Yeah, he's not very forthcoming about his past either. Maybe it would be more constructive if he was those questions were answered or like given from a stranger's perspective. You might be able to learn something about what's plaguing him if you give it a try. Have you spoken to him yet?
No. Perhaps I will.
Yeah, maybe when this is all over.
Well, I hope that we can help you, and I hope we are successful today and can bring you all home safely. Shall we get ready to go?
I'd like Timber to just walk in. This is like you dropped your ink bottle. I don't know why it was on the floor, but here you go. And then he's just gonna. Also, we should be moving on very soon. Hit the road.
Robert has gathered the horses up to the surface level, as you all can follow up there to your respective horses. You see Elspeth has clambered onto Taramron's shoulder, as you see her kind of like standing like really tall on his shoulder, hand on his head, kind of like that large wooden staff in her hand. Just sort of, it's twice as tall as her. She's just looking out and she says, I feel good about today. The air feels clear and free. You all ready to go?
Lead on, Mr. Elsbeth.
As you see her kind of nod to Taramron, who starts to lumber forward, every now and then just pushing trees to the side, as Elspeth is using magic to clear away the roots. They're not being ripped or anything, they just sort of retreat away from you as you move through the woods in the northeastern direction.
as we're like going up and out, I'm gonna say, all right, Rio God, Q, care to join me?
Of course. Kira reins in the horse, letting the others pass.
And we established that.
What is our marching order? So Taramron and Elspeth are leading. Who's next?
Timber will be next.
I surmise that
Wolf.
Huron and Cal will be in the back.
I'll be
All
right
right.
in front of Cal and Kira.
I'll be in the middle between Timber and Scarlet.
And Timber will not be paying attention to any perception.
Good to know. All right.
But Jet will.
So you start to move through the forest. It's still raining out. The storm has not passed. If anything, it's gotten worse. The rain is much heavier now. You're still kind of somewhat being covered by the canopy once you enter into the actual forest line past the plateau. You notice that you're kind of moving down the cliffside and curving to the northeast to head back towards the river line to start heading towards where the facility is. She had said that it was maybe a day away. And she somewhat clarifies at this point that it's a day of nonstop travel to get there. But if you'd like to rest before getting there, you'll have to rest for the evening and then start the next morning. But you start to move through the forest lines.
Is Embla? Where's Embla? Did you say that?
I did not
And
say
Robert.
And Robert and Rocky.
I would say that Embla. Well, Rocky is back in the
Oh yeah, Rocky never came with us. Right.
Yeah. Embla and Robert are ahead of Kiran and Cal. Robert's kind of with Scarlet, and I'd say Embla is loosely. She keeps going back and forth. She seems very restless. She's moving ahead of Scarlet sometimes, then falling back behind Scarlet. But Robert is pretty much kind of like, I'm gonna stick with Scarlet, with Q and Cal behind me. That seems right. You've noticed he doesn't seem to like to get too far away from Cal. But you are moving through. The horses have no problem because Elspeth is able to create a path for you. As you begin to journey onward, is there anything you would like to do at this time? Otherwise, we can get some perception checks from folks who want to.
Yeah,
Good.
I mean, I'm gonna perception check, but I have a conversation to strike up.
Absolutely, I figured as much. All right, can I get all right, Cal? What's your P check?
I rolled well. It's a 21. No, it's not. It's a 20. Dirty 20.
Okay. Kiran,
23 for me.
low for you.
Wow.
I thought for a second the Jet could have possibly beaten Kiran. He got a 22.
Wow.
Scarlet, are you keeping an eye out or are you not?
Not actively.
I'll use your passive then.
Wait, can I use my passive?
No.
Wiswick's
Once again, as I've always said, passive perception perceives different things than an active
Right.
perception roll.
Right.
Though in Kiran, it's always active. So, yes, you are simultaneously using your active perception and passive.
Wiswick's mapping out the area. It makes it a little bit harder now that it's morphing as we go along, but he tries his best.
Wiswick, give me a quick, just straight intelligence roll.
Okay. 14 plus 7.
Okay.
Oh, well, that's the save, so it would probably be
No.
like,
Yeah, just plus the 5, I think it is.
it's plus 4, yeah. So
Plus
14 plus 4 is
So 18. Okay, so it's not great. Your map of Terramron is not great. Like, you would probably not follow it if you came back here. But it's enough that it would be, with more information, correctable. You know what I mean? In the sense of, like, you have a clear path, but you don't have the proper anchor points. So you would need more information, but if you got more information, you could augment this rudimentary map into a larger map of the region.
Yeah, I think that's something that's weighing on Wiswick's mind, and he might bring up with Elspeth during the next break or whenever we have downtime.
It's actually, I'd say it's definitely concerning for Wiswick because he's usually pretty astute at keeping his bearings, and you feel quite lost for a moment in these woods.
Yeah, it's kind of the thing where Wiswick knows that he's wrong and it bothers the crap out of him. So in order to just feel safe and like understand like if he needs to run away or like go somewhere, he can self he just keeps updating over and like erasing his previous work, and it kind of just turns into a mess, and it doesn't stop him. He just wants it either.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you're like erasing things and redrawing them, magically removing ink and redrawing it. It's frustrating. Okay, so for the rest of you, with a 20 or higher, which is pretty much everything except for Timber and Scarlet, you would notice that the deeper you get and the more north you get, I'd say particularly Q notices this. The rest of you kind of get a vibe for it that's strange because you're like, it's spring. It's literally June right now. Since, as a reminder, it is the first day of Guavala on a Stirs dog.
Thank you. I was gonna double check that.
I knew you would. I like made digital eye contact with you, and I was like, he's gonna ask. The first of Guavala on a Stirs dog. It's full sun, full
rabbit,
warmth.
by the way, you guys.
You start to notice some orange leaves, like an autumn leaves on some of the trees. Dead leaves, essentially. Rapidly dead leaves. Not a bare tree with no leaves, but the foliage is starting to turn. And the deeper you get northeast, the more the foliage starts to turn orange and dead.
Wish Cal knew more about botany. Because I would ask, are they like blighted, or are they traditionally dead?
Traditionally dead.
Okay.
Yes, and I'll even say, like, the further northeast you get, the less spore presence there is. And it also feels like the rain is damping down the spores. You do notice some of the clusters of spore pockets in the upper branches of the trees. But even trees without it are withering and orange and somewhat dead.
I'll keep an eye on it.
Okay. Cal, you said there was a conversation you wanted to have.
Yes. So as we're riding, keeping my voice relatively low so as not to alert the rest of the party to my conversation. Well, and not it's not super secret because Timber's all the way up in front. But so Q, what is have you figured out what's going on with Timber yet? I'd like to know if we're gonna have to deal with that at some point.
Well, I had gone out looking for answers and ended up with more questions. So no, I have not reached any conclusions. Whatever it is seems to be some sort of possession of another entity within him, but the dark void owl that we've seen that led us to the sanctuary, I believe, is a benevolent spirit helping to watch over Timber and whatever it is that he's fighting within himself.
Okay. So second question, we know he has the possibility of losing control, and we know it was brought on at least this most recent time by all that blood, right, and the bodies and stuff.
Right.
So do we think him actually getting into combat is going to trigger something like that again?
I would assume, should he be in his bestial form, especially, and if he goes to bite, I mean, you'll even remember back in Maginset when he tore out that assassin's throat. There was a bit of it within him even back then.
Right. It seems like it's getting worse, though, right? I'm not I'm not alone
No.
in that assumption. Okay.
Definitely. I had never seen his eyes change the way they did the other night. Dang.
So it's possible that whenever we are in a combat situation, that we'll have an enemy behind us as well. Then.
Unless we make sure to keep Timber in the front.
Al deadpans, just stares at Kieran for that particular, and then goes, "Was that actually a pun? Was that what you were trying to do? Was that a joke? Q, that was great. I'm proud of you."
Oh, thank you. I'm not really sure what it was. It was just simply saying.
No, that was good. It was kind of snarky. It was good. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well done. And then I
Did
pat him on
Kieran
the
tell a
shoulder.
joke?
Yeah, it was pretty good, but no, he didn't actually. There's no jokes back here.
You guys are never any fun.
Wiswick shouting over Scarlet, Robert, and Embla, like, "Is that a joke?"
Yeah, no, he's way up front.
Because he briefly maybe saw Kieran go. Just barely smile, and he was like, "You tell a joke." You all press onward. Timber, this whole time there's just this sinking feeling in the pit of your stomach of just at any point terror, and just there's a hollowness too. Like you've often felt comforted by your scroll box that you've sent messages through to others, but it feels so heavy right now for some reason, and just empty and sinking. As you just sort of every now and then just turn your head at the slight sight of something, a cluster of branches that look like a wolf's skull. The way the light occasionally breaks through the clouds. You're on edge. And as you all continue traveling onward for the better part of the morning and into the afternoon, you don't notice much in the ways of danger. Occasionally hear the tracks of some wild beast in the distance, but there's no sign of Thrykeen or mantis draconids. The only thing you notice is that the vegetation continues to wither as you move onward. And you're starting to notice some distress in Elspeth at the sight of this. And it kind of peaks around, I'd say, 2 o'clock, when you crest a hill. Kind of looking downward, you see somewhat of the river valley that you were originally following. And it's just all dead. It's all orange. It's as if it's deep into the autumn, this entire thicket of forest. And you could just hear Embla kind of, "What? It's not possible. We walked these woods not 2 weeks ago. It was lush with life." And off in the distance, you can just see, barely visible on the horizon, it's just sort of this light in the distance that seems to shoot up into the sky, somewhat like a pillar. It just radiates this blue, purple, reddish light in the distance.
Yeah, I see it on the battle cam.
Shush. Would you like? Well, is there anything you'd like to do at this point?
Timber's gonna shift up next to Embla. Embla, sorry.
Elspeth.
Elspeth, yeah. Is that
I will also remark that
Just
you
to clarify, Elsbeth.
Elspeth?
Yeah.
Yes,
You said
what did
that.
I
I was
say?
like, I don't think you got that.
I did not.
What did I say?
You said it right. Alex.
Oh,
said
okay.
Totally else, and I assumed
Okay,
he just
okay,
didn't hear
okay.
you, and I was like,
You also at this point you can all see the river, so you know that you're close to that familiar tract of land. Wiswick, you immediately kind of like, oh, thank God. I can find some reference from my maps. But there is still a blank part of your map. But go ahead, Timber.
heart pounding. Is that where the big boom came from?
And she's just sort of like hanging in the side of Taramron, and you can see Taramron's face is just sort of a nest of its own rage. And she just, that is the correct spelling, Wiswick. He just sent something to our chat. She looks down and goes, oh yeah, that's the place. We heard rumors that the ground was scarred, and we heard rumors of dark lights, but this is much worse than we thought.
Let's go.
And you see she kind of nods to you, and you see she turns and kind of is whispering to Taramron a little bit. Anyone who's nearby can do a perception check to try to hear what they're saying.
Huron's not nearby, but can he? Yeah, or
Yes.
read lips.
I'll allow you to read lips, yes.
The power
And
of
I
that.
can understand Sylvan.
I guess so can Timber, yeah. They are speaking Sylvan.
Jet disappoints
Only a
me once
16.
again.
Um,
I got a 7.
Wait,
Timber, did you wanna try to hear what they're saying?
Yeah. At this point,
Okay,
he's
go ahead and roll. Huron, what'd you get?
23 again.
You don't understand Sylvan.
Nope. But I want to. You have to say it in Sylvan for me, and then translate it.
Okay. Hold up. Let me just Google Translate to Irish, because that's what Sylvan is.
Oh, don't you the Latin?
That's Irish.
Isn't it?
Yeah, basically. 16.
16? And Cal, what'd you get?
I think
Cal?
also got a 16. Tim.
Okay. Did you get a 16, Tim?
You were not. None of that sound just came out. I'm so sorry. You got a 16. I got a 16.
Okay, 2 16s. All right,
got it.
so the main thing you both pick up is you kind of pick up the beginning of the conversation, but not the conclusion of it. As you hear her say to him, This has got to be why the Barkskins don't come down here anymore. Why there's been so much danger? Why all these freaking mantis creatures are attacking? And she just he looks at her and goes, The Barkskins are protective of their territory, though. Well, they should say something, doesn't it, Taramron? And then kind of at that, like, outburst back at him, kind of like, yeah, these wood elves, you get that they're talking about wood elves, are not ranging south anymore. That's a bad thing. And they sort of grumble at each other and whisper a few other things you don't catch. But that's the largest thing that you get, is that the wood elves are no longer protecting the southern portion of Taramron, which has allowed the Thryking to expand.
I think Timber would shift back to a wolf and actually take lead at this point, having vision.
Okay.
And not approach swiftly, probably approach at a normal pace, but keeping an eye out, obviously, for
All right.
at this point.
So I'd say now you can give me a perception check, and then anyone else who would like to. I imagine the rest of you are staying in your current configuration?
Aye, Captain.
16 again, Sean.
I also
Okay.
got a 16.
I got a 23.
Oh,
19
Scarlett's paying
from
attention.
Huron.
Yeah,
Get
was it a 23? Yep. She's gonna, like, after, like, not paying attention for a little bit, but seeing the change in the scenery and the change in people's behavior, she's gonna, like, start paying attention, and in the back of her mind, she's keeping an eye out to see if they've been followed.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Dirty 20 for timber. Cute. What'd you get?
19.
Okay. All of those who got 20 or higher, you would notice an immediate deadening of the woods. There is very little sounds of life anymore. The birds in the distance seem to be gone. Every now and then you actually see dead animals that just seem to have collapsed of exhaustion. The trees are starting to bow backwards as if having been hit by a force. And some of the trees amongst and it's entirely amber now. The forest, there's no green left in the forest. But now, every now and then you start to notice pock marks on the leaves that are a bright, glistening blue that almost glows. And then you start to notice pools of water glow a bright blue color in certain areas. And you notice like dead animals around the water. And then you hear in the distance damned beasts. As you would see kind of leaning up against a tree, sort of this human figure. Blood kind of on his face as if he's been in a fight. But he just sort of looks so weary. And he just sort of like, you're almost like crossing a bend in the forest where you're no longer in the thick forest of Terramron. You're now in like the sparse trees of my one Lord of the Rings reference, Amunhen. Just a lot of dead leaves in the ground, trees that seem to be socially distancing. And you just see leaning against one of these trees this human figure, dressed much like you would notice any of the henchmen of the Syndicate. You know, loose leathers, an overcoat, very poorly shorn hair that's pushed back with just water and grease, and just sort of a black goatee. These really bright gray eyes as he's just sort of, one eye is swollen shut as he's just...
Do we recognize him?
Give me no, if you're 23, you don't recognize him. He's not one of the...
Hal's not going to bother to spend time recognize him. He's going to dismount, run over there, and make sure, like, if the guy's got, like, a sword near him, he's going to kick it away or whatever.
Yeah.
And then hold
100%.
sword against his throat. I don't care if this guy looks like he's wounded, but...
Yeah, you do. You notice immediately that, like, 6 inches from his arm that's down on the ground, he has one arm crutched against his chest where you see he's kind of holding a wound. Another arm that's limply to the side, and you see about 6 inches away from it is a long sword, actually. And you easily enough kick it away. And you immediately go up and you grab and pull from his waist a hand crossbow, and then hold your rapier up to him, and he just sort of... He looks up and he goes... Of course. Stormlord punished me. I run into... Leave me be. Leave me be.
Friend, we could leave you be, or we could perhaps get you to a state where you may survive the afternoon. How about that?
You see, he vomits immediately, and you see his vomit is heavy with blood.
That's a gut wound, friend. Those could take 2-3 days.
You see, he's somewhat delusional at this point, in the way he's looking at you. Like, are you my guardian angels? Volkir sent by the Storm God.
I'm going to reference what I know about that particular religion, Sean. Are they the Valkyrie to take him to Valhalla? Is that what this is?
Yes.
Okay.
Not so
Kieran's
much
going-
Valhalla, though, and more so the mirror afterlife that the Stormlord worshippers believe in. But that's for another day.
Kieran's gonna dismount and walking over, hearing that, goes, "No, we're sent by a different god. One that will do more than just whisk you away to another life." And Kieran's going to cast Healing Word at first level,
Okay.
giving him 5 hit points.
You notice the wounds on him heal, but only half as much as they ordinarily would. There's something poisoning him that keeps you from fully healing. But you are able to give him some relief and keep him from dying for now.
Well, upon seeing that lack of healing, Kieran would want to investigate, to the best of his abilities, what might be causing it.
Give me a medicine check.
Can Wizwood possibly assist?
Yep, absolutely.
While they're doing that, Cal would basically as Kieran's poking around in this guy's wounds, Cal would say something along the lines of, "Now listen, friend. Before you get sent to that mirror world that the Stormlord people live in, worship in, that I would probably know the name of,
Wodenfall.
before you get sent to Wodenfall, did I say
Fall.
that correctly? Fall. Yeah. Tell us, unburden yourself, friend. Now, what brought you to such a state?"
This fucking priest. This damned witch.
Where in the camp down there? I say, nodding towards the.
You know then, don't you? Why else would you be here?
Well, we're
dead.
searching. I'm gonna make sure my boots don't get puked on. We're searching for someone, and any bit of information at this point might help. So tell me, how many? What wounded you? Did the witch do it, or did the priest?
No. They're fucking beasts. I said said I wouldn't die for their fucking magic. Priest and his witch. They came after me. With their fucking spiders. Razor sharp swords for legs.
Now, you said you wouldn't die for them. Are there ones down there that said they would?
Some of us wealth is not worth such things.
How many of you were there?
Give me a persuasion roll with advantage.
Answer me, man. I say, roll like a 8 on a persuasion. Oh, with advantage. Never mind. Roll like a 16 on a persuasion roll.
Before I resolve that, Kieran, what did you get for your medicine check?
26.
So his wounds are they work with his description of spiders with swords for legs, in the sense of he seems to have these puncture wounds that look like something wrapped around him and then just sank blades into him. But
Okay.
what is not like that is this like blackened skin around the wounds and these veins of green and blue light that seem to penetrate the wound, almost like
almost like if you look at like metal veins in a mine and the way they spider out,
Yeah.
almost like capillaries. And they glitter every now and then in this blue. And this blue color reminds you of the water that's lighting up that dead animals are around. And it is, you can identify with that high of a roll. It's whatever toxin that is what's preventing your healing from fully taking place.
Huron will relay this to Cal and the party behind him. Seems to be whatever magic's affecting the rest of this forest has affected this man here, causing my healing to be half as effective.
Wiswick is gonna pull out one of the bottles that he had of the Faerun Dew, and he's going to look at the guy and speak to him and say,
I might be able. You've been poisoned by those creatures. I might be able to help you, but I must be honest. I'm not sure how well this remedy will work. I've never tried it on a living person before. I'm willing to try it, but I need you to say it's okay. Without it, you're sure to die.
Muted.
You see at the mention of this, he grasps at Cal's shoulder, who's kind of over him, just pulls him forward and just says, "Don't let that fucking gnome touch me."
I kind of wave Wiswick off and shake my head.
Suit yourself.
I bottle up my thing, throw it back in the pack.
Now listen, friend. It seems to me we're going after the people that did this to you, and any help you could be of would be much appreciated.
Give me another persuasion roll with advantage.
Yeah, there we go. That's feeling good. That's a 22, Sean.
I'll tell you what happened. I'll tell you what that fucking priest and his witch summoned.
And before he tells you that, we're going to take a short break. Because we got to do our lovely giveaway for tonight, and this DM needs to use the bathroom really badly.
Let me get
So,
this.
Shannon, I will let you take it away to
Surprise!
administer the surprise giveaway.
Administer or administrate?
Both.
Yes.
And I'll be right back.
Okay.
Have fun.
All right, guys. So, if you would like a chance to win either a AC tracker or an HP tracker from Arcane Spectacles, it will be winner's choice. Please enter in the chat #Bracken. And if somebody could put that in the chat so people know how to spell it, it is BRACKEN.
Like the actual word bracket, for those
Yes.
of you who read a lot of natural history.
For those of you that are in, also all those of us that are in the Discord, that is our general Bracken, is our general chat. So #Bracken.
Tim
It's
chat.
working. Do it. It's working.
Tim chat. Great time.
Leave the damn emoji there.
I
Leave it.
refuse.
No,
I don't use
leave it.
emojis, Shannon.
Yeah, I understand, but you're fucking up the entire aesthetic that I have going on there.
Language.
Yeah, what if your students are watching? Hmm?
Yeah.
They're sleeping. Or they should be.
9:20 as a first grader? I wasn't asleep.
They
My
should
mom
be.
was asleep.
A long day tomorrow. Come on, so there's only 2 of you in there. #Bracken, do the thing. Thank you, 3 of you.
Oh, now Patch is just gonna win it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Patch is
For those of you that don't know, Patch is extremely lucky.
But yeah, no, my mother always fell asleep by like 8 o'clock. That's just because who she is.
Yeah,
And,
well, she's a teacher too, isn't she? Or she's in education?
I'm back.
Yay.
Are we out or are we still in?
No, we're still
We've
in.
never been out, bro.
Yeah.
Hi, friends.
We don't cut.
Do the thing. There's still only 3 of you.
Keep it rolling.
Do it. Only do it once.
What is hashtag Bracken the entry? Folks, please enter hashtag Bracken to enter to win a great, lovely giveaway by Arcane Spectacles, who have a Kickstarter launching on Wednesday morning. Really great opportunity. Please, 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 please enter. I'm going to give you all some extra time to do so.
Hey, enter, guys. Hashtag Spacken.
It's okay, Midwest mini
No,
guy.
hashtag Bracken.
Hashtag-
Who's your idea?
Hashtag Lackin.
You know what, folks? No one knows what Bracken means anymore. It was a joke from 1,000 years ago.
Yeah,
Explain it to us, Sean. What does it mean?
it's a type of fern.
It
Yeah.
is a type of fern that also is referenced to Sean's strange penchant for naming things very similarly when he's coming up with the names. If you ask me to improv names and I don't have a list in front of me, they're gonna start sounding the same. That's why I named 2 people in a town, Saoirse and Sorsha.
Okay,
We
there
all
are
like
more.
Saoirse better.
Let's go. Thank you. Now
All right, let's see some more. Let's see some more Brackens. We got 16 of you all in there. Toss some
Yeah, we got one
Brackens in there.
Bracken coming up. We got one Bracken.
So,
We got 2 Bracken. We got 2 Bracken. We got
I don't
all
think they
and then
like
3
free
Bracken.
stuff.
We got 3. And I got for the 4 Bracken.
Yeah.
4.
They just our chat just doesn't like free stuff. It's fine.
That's fine.
5
fine.
Bracken. We got
Fine.
5.
I
We're
mean-
gonna get 6.
All right, folks.
6 Bracken.
I'm gonna give you 10 more seconds to enter your Brackens.
10 more seconds. We
10.
got 10 more seconds. 9 more seconds. 9 more
8.
seconds. 8 seconds. 8
7.
seconds. We got 7 seconds. 7 seconds
6.
coming up on 6 seconds. 6
5,
Hashtag Bracken. Bracken.
4, 3, 2,
Imagine if
1.
Huron had this kind of energy.
Right? Shannon, pull it.
All right. Oh my
I'd do
god.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Guys, we just like giving patch things.
Apparently we do.
We just like
do.
giving patch things.
Patch, you want it?
Yeah, I mean, truthfully, we should probably start announcing these codes earlier than the second we start the break.
Yeah, that's true.
like every other channel on the planet. Guys, this just shows you how authentic we are.
Yeah, it really does. It does.
2,000 followers. We're still the same
All right,
stream.
Pat said someone else. Okay, I'm picking someone else.
Wait, but my
Do it
firstborn
again.
child comes with it. Don't you
All
want
right,
that?
there we go. Shroom Raver.
Shroom Raver.
Yay!
Congratulations.
Steph, your firstborn child comes with it?
Patch,
Yeah.
I think you. I think we're
Firstborn
gonna
child
institute-
of
we're-
you
we're-
total, or of which which marriage?
We're gonna institute
Firstborn.
a cooldown period for you, Patch, where you
Yeah,
can't enter
seriously.
giveaways for 2 weeks. All right, folks. That was the giveaway. Shroom Raver, Shannon will reach out to you and we'll get you your health tracker or your AC tracker, or
It's his choice.
that's right.
Either HP or HP. so
And folks, please check out Arcane Spectacles Kickstarter coming out 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I believe. Eastern Standard, right?
Yep.
On Wednesday morning. You might find a nice, cool video that is helping introduce the products made by moi. But anyway,
I didn't know you were doing that. That's awesome.
yeah, I'm a little mad. My light broke earlier today, so I'm having some trouble with it. But don't worry. Caitlin and Jared, don't worry about it. You'll get it. Anyway, folks, let us return to Advantage in Paradise.
Is that what we're doing here?
Oh, I thought we were playing Jenga.
Crameba, more like.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm left out of this joke.
Keep going.
What joke?
There's a joke.
There's no joke here.
We're playing
Well-
Gramba.
Yeah, we're playing Cramba.
Yeah.
What is this board game? I need to know.
It's not a board game. It's a
not a game.
lifestyle.
Yeah.
Okay. So you
It's
folks
Haagen-Dazs.
have gathered. Okay, everyone, shut up.
This session brought to you by Haagen-Dazs.
Bye, Haagen-Dazs.
Haagen-Dazs, the creamy, velvety
Hashtag not
taste
sponsored,
of
not
Haagen-Dazs.
sponsored. Stop talking.
Not
Haagen-Dazs,
sponsored.
give us money.
Hey, it's not sponsored by them, but it is definitely brought to you by them. Anyway, folks, in the cold rain of this withering forest, this withering man is attempting to relate to what has happened to him. He looks up and just says, "I'll tell you what that witch and the priest and his witch did to us. They told us, go into the woods. We get twice as much pay, shorter time. Keep him protected. And watch over what's held there." And then she showed up. Prisoner. Someone from the south. I signed up for extra time, so the gold was there. Well, then the dream started. The whispers. Brought another prisoner in. Kept him in the sanctum. But he... I heard his voice. And we all did. It's around the times the dream started. Darkness, fire. Our homes burning. People I haven't seen them in years. They were dying before my eyes. And I'd wake to another dull grey day of watching the priest and the witch conversing over fucking breakfast. And they'd go in the sanctum and wouldn't come out for days. And then it happened. Explosion. I've been wandering these woods for weeks, being chased by what they wrought. And only now, as I bleed out here, whispers are gone. And I hear nothing but the rain.
Now, you said there was a prisoner first, right? There were two prisoners?
There were many prisoners, but she and him were the most important.
The woman, what did she look like?
At this point, Timber turns around from watching.
Cal says, looking towards
Yeah.
Timber, because Cal does not know what she looks like.
Timber, you never described what she looked like. So, Alex, what does Raina look like?
She's got black hair, long black hair. She's kind of like short and stocky, not like super short, but like she's not 6 foot.
She's 5'3".
She's 5'3", yes.
It's pretty short.
No.
Well, guys, I'm a pretty short person.
Yeah, like, she's like 5'7".
She's like Sean's size.
Yeah, 5'7", 5'8".
That's not short. God damn it.
No, actually, that's not short. Yeah, you're right.
That's my height.
All right,
She's between
Sure.
5'3" and 5'8".
there you go.
Long black hair.
Long black hair, stocky. is
Stocky. I don't know what stocky means. Is that like thick?
No,
Yeah.
it's like
Well, strong.
Yeah,
I mean, she's
muscular.
strong,
Yeah.
or like
Muscular,
You're,
yeah.
you're broad of shoulder.
yeah, she's like
Yeah.
she's got broad. She's not like jacked, but she's like she's like
Sturdy.
she's
Fit.
sturdy. She's fit. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a
and-
stalker.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly that.
Keep going, pal. We need a little more than that.
Yeah.
Long black hair and between 5'3" and 5'8" and stocky.
Eye color.
Eye color, green.
Rad.
I'll say he does describe a pale
How
woman
do you do this, Sean?
in
Sorry.
simple clothes. She came in clothes that looked ragged, but the
Ragged.
trinkets on her were. Well, she's ragged when she came, but she wore glittering trinkets, pale skin, green eyes, long black hair, often held back.
5'3", maybe 5'8".
She was 5'5". So my mother always,
I've got a good
my
eye.
mother always said lights. There's a glitter in those green eyes that pierced the soul of a man who looked at her. I've never seen more confidence in someone present. The man I never saw. He was brought in chains and bars. But I heard his voice. In my dreams, in all our dreams, he would speak to us. I had to leave after a night. I almost let him go. I walked up to the sanctum and I had my torch out and I didn't have the keys, but I was ready to break through those bars any way I could. I decided that night I had to leave. And then the big boom happened. And here I am.
Where are the prisoners? Where were the prisoners?
I'd have to say they're back there.
These beasts.
The things I've seen in the last week.
These beasts that give you your great
You see,
wounds.
he's starting to break down at this point. Like you can see, like his face is scrunching up. Like his eyes are tearing up. He's just, oh, my hurts.
I'm gonna take out one of my poison reduction potions and just jab it in his mouth.
Yeah, and he's not resisting. He drinks it, and
That'll help a little bit.
you're a general. Your generosity is wasted. You cannot help me.
Well, at least help me before you pass on. Do some good for you.
You see, like he's got like that, like bloody drool coming out of his mouth. It's just, they are near. We barely made it through the night. And the creatures attacked. They could be anywhere. Around us. Black flesh. Green, yellow, red, purple lights beaming from inside. They won't die, no matter how hard you hit them.
Let me die.
Fine.
Can Kieran cast Pole of the Dead to help him pass on to the next life?
You may. It's in this. You can tell Timber as you're questioning him, somewhat frustrated as this only lead into what's beyond. This man is beyond help. You eased his pain, but he is passing. You see Kieran mutters a prayer and grasps at his holy symbol, the shard of corpse moon. As it beams light and you hear a dull a bell muted in the distance. You see in his eyes, like the rain kind of peeling down his face. Just thank you. And the man is dead.
That was 15 points of necrotic damage.
He explodes.
His head falls as he says, all these moments will be gone like tears in the rain.
You can't imagine.
Attack ships on the shoulder of Orion.
Sea beams glittering off the.
Time to die.
Oh, did you know that was improv? Fuck off.
In fact, the only improv line was tears and
Tears in the rain, yeah.
Anyway, you all stand encircled around this criminal, Highland Syndicate grunt, who's seen horrors and now, for his sake, peaceful death. With warnings of sword-legged spiders, a priest and a witch, and terrible things beyond. What would you like to do?
We'll just keep moving. Just keep an eye out for.
You see Elspeth clambers down from Teramran. You see her, she comes up to the body. You see she closes the eyes, sort of positions the body to be resting on the ground. You see her eyes go back, white, as her hand hovers over. She's muttering in Sylvan. Yashkeeper's roots will take you, bring purpose to your flesh and beyond. As you see, slowly the corpse seems to rapidly decompose. And then these flowers sprout from what remains. We should keep moving. This way. She jumps into Taramron's hand, who lifts her up onto his shoulder. If you would like to rest soon, we can keep going, but we can either push through the night and get there in the middle of the night, or we rest and get there in the morning.
Conflicted.
I would. Timber, I know you probably want to push on, but we should rest early and try to hit them just before sunrise.
That's the correct call.
We'll push on for as long as we can and rest. This way. And- Go ahead.
Just hold on, guys. Are you sure about this? I mean, it might be more dangerous if we go closer.
Elsbeth, can you get us somewhere that'd be in cover somewhere? Screw that accent.
I'm not. I haven't been near this facility. I don't know what the forest line's like around it, but I can provide some cover, for sure.
We can't see it in the distance, can we?
You can see a light in the distance. Well, not anymore because you descended the hill into the valley. But when you were at the top of the hill, you could see a light in the distance that was some miles away, that just beamed up like a pillar from where this campment is.
So
And-
more than 1 mile.
Yes. It's less so that you see the origin of the light, and more so you see the pillar of light that shoots up into the sky. So it's probably like a good, anywhere between, especially as you're at an elevated height, 10, 15 miles away. Something that you could easily do right now, but it would take you into the night. But something that you could go pretty far and then finish the journey in the morning.
Let us go and stop before the moon rises.
Okay, don't say I didn't warn you.
So you're going to continue as long as you can and then rest for the night.
Well, no.
Okay.
We're going to continue until we find an appropriate place to stay, with the idea of we can cover the remaining ground after a long rest to arrive before sunrise. Sorry.
Oh, I see. So you're trying to stop early enough so that when you
Yeah.
arrive the next morning, it's as early as possible.
Pre-sunrise, preferably, but
Okay.
just pre-sunrise.
Okay, we could do that. You could do that, for
Yeah.
sure.
Okay, great.
All right, excellent. I need the last perception checks for today.
You think that's gonna be the last time we look?
19.
For the
We
first
will never
day
look again.
For the first day of Guavala, yes.
I got
19.
my
For this Tears dog, or Stirs dog. What is it? Stirs dog?
It's stairs dog.
Stairs dog.
I mean, stairs. Stairs.
I got my physical dice during the break. I pull them out, ready to roll. Got a 1 and a 2.
Oh. Q, what'd you get?
23 for me. Again.
Timber?
18.
Cal?
Have you ever seen the film with the which one is it? He's got the eyes in his palms.
I think I know what you're... Yeah, are you talking
Pan's
about...
Labyrinth.
Talking about
Pan's
Pan's
Labyrinth.
Labyrinth?
Thank you. Yeah. I got a 10.
Okay. Huron.
Yeah.
You get about an hour down deeper in when you start to hear scuttling in the distance.
I hear scuttling in the distance.
And just occasionally, just this sort of... like something stabbing into the wood of the trees above. And also into the brush and the duff of the forest ground.
Not the duff.
You look out of the corner of your eye and you, for a very brief moment, see something spider-like. It just sort of vibrates and disappears underneath the dead leaves of the forest. Almost like those bird-catching spiders that push all the sand over them and then disappear.
Yeah.
This creature's doing the same thing, but with leaves and duff of the forest ground.
Trapdoor
And-
spider.
How large
Spider.
is it?
I would say if you're thinking as far as it is this wide, like its legs and center, about 5 feet long. It's very large.
Well, for a spider.
For a spider, yeah.
So it's like a medium.
Not as big as a mantid. It's a medium creature. Medium-sized creature. But you see one just sort of immediately
Between
vibrate
5'3"
down
and
into the...
5'8".
Yes. But it does disappear into the duff of the forest. What would you like to do?
Huron relays this, of course, as he did before, to his companions.
Do we have a means of scaring it off?
I could turn the duff into a duff elemental.
But Duff elemental? Explain what.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's an earth elemental. I was just trying to be funny.
The hourglass turned over. What are we doing?
And let us keep going.
Why don't we kill it? We should kill it.
No, if it comes in our way, we kill it. Other than that, let it be.
No, I think he's right. I think we should kill it. What if it's a scout?
Being intelligent.
Cal sends 2 arrows. Wait, can I still see it, or is it totally gone?
You'd have disadvantage on the attack, but you could try to attack it.
Yeah.
You know where it is, and like Huron was like, you see where like the leaves don't look like leaves.
The sun's still up, right?
Yes, it's
okay.
literally it's like 3:00 in the afternoon.
I'm
Didn't
gonna put.
he say that these things don't die?
Is Cal loosing the arrows or?
Yeah,
Cal's no,
Yeah.
there's no like Cal pulling back and like, wait, what did you say? No, like that's not how archery works.
I was gonna say Kieran's following up with a sacred
Yeah,
flame.
give me 2 attacks, and Kieran, I'll allow
3
you.
attacks?
Nope, I'm only gonna allow the first 2 people who said to attack, because this is not a surprise round. They're stalking you, but Cal and Kieran are acting proactively.
It's basically like seeing Cal notch an arrow. Kieran would have been like, "That's probably the smart idea."
How's it? 25, Sean.
That hits. That'll hit. I'm gonna give them advantage on their saving throw for your Kieran.
That's fair. It's a Dex 15.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I was thinking about a saving throw thing, but I don't know if it would work. You can't see the creature.
I mean that's the weird thing about saving throw stuff. I imagine like with Sacred Flame, it's kind of like an attack roll at this point, you know, because you're like attacking a certain area with it.
Right.
It does succeed on its saving throw for the Sacred Flame with
I would imagine.
with a 16. You hit with that 25. How much damage do you roll?
7 conventional and 3 poison.
Okay. So you see immediately this creature start to screech as you see its legs, all 8 of them coming out of the dead leaves, and you can see now he's not joking. Like the lower mandible is a straight up blade. It looks like from this distance, as its core is not like that segmented arachnid body. It's one single almost pancake body with this like face on the front that has these mandibles that sort of just they're not like claws, they're like literally like this interlocking jaw that just goes as it starts to skitter through the duff. And I'll need everyone to roll initiative.
Why, there's another arrow coming, bro.
I know there is. Go and roll it.
I did. 16.
16 does not hit.
Your boy got a nat 20 on initiative, though.
20 to 25.
Right here, 27.
Damn. Anything else in 20 to 25? Okay. 15 to 19. Jesus Christ. Oh. Cal, what'd you get?
15.
15. Okay. 10 to 14.
12.
5 to 9.
6. And that's with Vigilant Blessing advantage.
Jesus. And then Timber, I'm assuming you're lower than that.
I have a natural 1.
Oh! All right.
Well, that was me
Wiswick.
last session.
Wiswick, you're up. You only can see the one spider at this point. It is left of the path you're on, about 30 feet away.
I don't like the way you said that. We're gonna play it safe, and we're gonna cast...
Fireball. Oh.
Nope. I'm gonna drop a little bit of haste action on my favorite person in the whole world. So I will
with
roll
me,
for
shouldn't
right
I?
now. Cal,
Yes?
I rolled for you, so
Okay.
you get haste.
Thanks.
And I'll also. Is there a tree nearby, or am I with my horse? I'm with my
You're
horse. and
on
that's with
Jasper. You're on Jasper.
That's the noise horses make.
Yeah, I guess. Man, what do I do with Jasper? I'm just gonna hop off Jasper, and I'm gonna do my standard, like, walk him kind of away from where I think the spider is, and try and keep him calm type deal.
All right,
and
give me
out of the fight.
an animal handling check.
A 9.
Jasper's freaking the fuck out. He is just going to immediately kind of like charge forward instead of moving in any way that you ask him to. He just charges forward about 15 feet, just sort of like freaking out, just not like running, but sort of like moving 5 feet and then stopping and looking around, moving 5 feet, stopping. Right, you're about 15 feet ahead of the party at this point.
Crap. I'm just gonna, like, I spend the rest of my turn just trying to, like, get Jasper to go around. Like, I'm panicking, and I don't really want to, like, leave him to die, so... yeah, we're just struggling.
Alright.
It's the spider's turn.
Whoa!
So you see the spider immediately burst from the ground and start charging forward. It charges towards Cal and leaps up to attempt to grapple him off of his horse. So Cal, give me an acrobatics or athletics check to evade this.
Natural 20. Resulting in a 27.
You also
Nice.
get advantage to dexterity saving throws.
It's not a dex
It's
save.
not dex save. But good to know.
But good, because that beats its 18. As Cal, you grab one of the legs and another leg of the spider, as you see these, like, quite literally, it's like these, like, arachnid carapace legs, and then it ends with just this, like rocky cluster at the joint, and then, like, literally what looks like a scythe blade at the end of the leg. You look at its mouth, it opens it up, and inside is this, like, burning green flame that is its innards, as it comes chomping at your face, and it is going to go for one attack on you, although it has disadvantage because you've stopped its grapple. That is a 17 to hit.
No.
Okay, so it's just chomping at your face. You're just holding it back, and then you shove it off, and it falls to the ground on its back, clamoring to get back onto its right side. The next spider that you didn't see is going to immediately drop down on Scarlet for a surprise attack. Scarlet, give me an athletics or acrobatics check.
Can't I not be surprised?
Are you alert?
Then it doesn't get advantage on its attack. Then.
All right, so you said
Still a surprise attack. You're just
Yes.
a surprise
I'm
plan.
just not surprised.
You're not as surprised.
What did you say?
Acrobatics or
Total.
athletics?
Acrobatics.
It's a dirty 20 you need to beat.
Oh, I got a 19.
This spider drops from above. You see it, and you try to draw your sword to slice into it, but you miss as it clings around you, and you feel 8 legs pierce your back, which is 8d4 damage.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh my.
That's a lot of dice.
Well, I mean, but
Maximum is 30.
Yeah.
That's still a
But
lot.
the
That's like half,
likelihood-
I mean, it'll probably be
literally
like,
half the health.
22 points of piercing damage.
Jesus.
never mind.
That's unfortunate.
I honestly rolled a shit ton of 4s there. But you feel that these razor blades pierce your back as this creature is hugging you, essentially. And you can see its face, like, right at yours, just like... And you can feel the heat of that fiery green insides as you are considered grappled.
Cool.
And then, Wiswick. A third spider jumps from the ground at you.
Oh my god.
Give me a athletics or acrobatics check.
All right. Never wanted this more. Nope, that doesn't help me. Sorry.
It's okay.
Did you beat a 25?
No. I did not beat a 25. I thought I did good, but then I realized I had a -2 to athletics.
Oh no.
Wait, did you say acrobatics? Because I'm good at those.
You can do acrobatics.
You can do either.
It still doesn't. Well, guys, see you on the other side.
Until next time, brother.
Oh, a lawsuit. Okay, that
Next
is
episode,
20,
Crane makes a new character.
20 points of piercing damage.
Okay, I'll take 20. Oof.
As Wiswick and Scarlet are both grappled now by these hulking spiders that have essentially just wrapped themselves around and pierced their blade-like feet into their backs and are now just about to literally eat them. Cal, you're up.
Hey, Clay, you still capable of casting haste on me? Is that still happening?
That's a good question. That was 20 damage. What's the concentration rule? It's like 10 plus half your damage. So I have to roll 20 on concentration in order to succeed.
Yeah.
It sounds like you know the answer.
I was just confirming.
Oh, okay.
I rolled a 15, so that's a big nope.
Yeah, so let me just double check that real quick. Because I'm pretty sure you're right there, but yeah, concentration is usually it's half the. No. I think concentration is half the damage dealt to you.
Okay, well, it was
so
20
you're
damage.
good. You're good.
All right, cool.
So you still maintain concentration. So Cal, you are still hasted.
That's good, because it's real good for Cal. So Cal now it's my turn, right? Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Cal now basically on D&D's
Scarlet, you're on
equivalent
deck.
of meth, is like and like jumps off his horse and whilst in the air he tosses the reins to Robert and then does some attacks on this.
I imagine.
Yeah, I gotta go XCOM rules. I'm just gonna attack the one in front of me.
I was
Go
gonna
for it.
say Spanish guitars and people snapping like Zorro.
Yeah. I think that's a good thing to conceptualize.
All right, go for the attack.
Okay. Does a 16 doesn't hit? You said, but it's on the
16 does not
ground.
hit.
It's prone. Because I just threw it on the
Yes,
ground.
correct. This one is prone, so you get advantage.
All right, good. How about a 19?
That will hit.
Huzzah!
This is the one that already took your arrow, too.
Yeah, that's why I'm going for that one. All right, it's a 13 damage plus 1 poison damage.
Nice. It's looking rough, as you can see, kind of this bloody, not bloody, but like molten almost green blood pouring out of it.
Second attack for that attack round.
Yeah.
19, so 19 plus 8
Hits.
is 27 to hit. 14 damage plus 2 poison, so 16.
Okay, so you watch as 5 points of that damage hit it, and then 10 points or 11 points of it go to the closest spider.
Interesting.
As you see, you go and you hit your blade into it, and it takes the damage, but then it stops. You can almost feel a force moving against it, and then you look over and you see the spider grasping Scarlet suddenly gets a crack in the back of its carapace.
Still on meth, Cal has like a bit of a manic grin as he like figures this out mentally, and then just starts wailing on the thing with his sword, taking another attack action.
Go for it.
With advantage, thank God. That's a 17.
That just hits.
Okay. For 14 damage plus 1 poison.
Okay, so you
And
once
then
again hit this creature. Nothing happens to it, but you watch the creature attached to Scarlet starts to crack more.
22.
You don't get a fourth attack.
Yes, I do.
No,
Why
you
wouldn't
don't.
It's
Haste-
only one
haste-
extra.
haste
It's
Yeah,
only
yeah,
with
yeah.
it can't be 2 weapons, but it's another attack action.
No, read haste.
I just read it.
You get an extra, only one extra attack. You don't get a whole attack action.
No.
No.
This action can be used only to take the attack, dash, disengage, hide, or use an object action.
The attack, one
You're
weapon
taking
attack
the
only.
attack action. One weapon attack only. It's the same weapon.
No,
No.
it means one attack. It means one attack.
It means
Read the
one
spell,
attack.
bro.
Yes.
I am reading
We
it.
have, and there's so many notes
The
out
attack,
there.
it's the attack action. And my have 2 attacks per attack action.
Your weapon has 2 attacks per attack action.
No, the fighter, me as a
No,
fighter, has
it's
2 attacks
not.
per action.
No.
No.
When you take 2 attacks during your turn, you could take a second attack by using a bonus action. I thought.
On my
That's what
character
the
sheet, it
two
says
weapon
attacks
fighting
per
is.
action.
Right. Yes, but that does not apply here. It says specifically one attack.
Maybe I'm wrong.
No, it says the attack action, but okay.
But what it means by
Look, whatever
It
Sean says, I'll go with.
It
But
specifically says it's one attack.
no, it
Yeah.
says not a second weapon, not 2
I
weapons.
am going to rule right
Somebody
now.
check stage advice.
Yeah, I'm doing
We're
it.
already
But
there, and we're right. Like
in the process of it, I'm going to say that the hasted action is
one weapon attack only.
one. Yeah, I was going to say hasted action is one weapon attack only. Otherwise, when fighters are level 20, they get fucking
8 attacks?
10 attacks on a hasted action.
Yeah.
It's one weapon attack only on the hasted action. It's not
Alright.
it's not extra attack, because extra attack is a specific feature and it does not include extra attack in hasted actions. It's only one attack.
All right.
Still amazing turn though. Scarlet,
What
of course it is. Scarlet, you're up.
The one time Tim tries to use the rules, everyone's like, no.
The one
Scarlet, you're up.
It's because a spell was involved. He doesn't get that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's exactly. I
I
imagine
hate
Cal,
magic. Fucking hate it.
I imagine Cal sitting there being like, "Well, I'm fucking sped up by magic. Why can't I just keep attacking?"
If I can imagine it, why can't I do it?
Scarlet,
That's right.
you are
Okay.
up.
Yes, I am going to.
You are grappled, by the way.
Yep. Bonus action, erupted flesh.
Oh fuck.
So it needs-
the meme
Are
of this
we
campaign
around?
is, I'm gonna nerf that.
I'm gonna nerf that. Nope.
Still have it.
You said it yourself. It was. I used it
Shush.
cool. So yeah, no, it's on the VOD. All right. You need to make a Dex 15 saving throw, please. And I'm still gonna roll some fire damage.
That is 15. Succeeds.
All right. So it's gonna take half. 11 points of. Nope. That's a. Yes. No. That's a 6. 11 points of fire damage halved.
For sure, I'd have nerfed this shit.
Yeah. Okay.
You watch as the creature in front of you starts to boil over in flaming pain, but it does not die. As you look over and see another creature attacking Wiswick that bursts into flames, taking the extra damage.
What the hell? Okay. So
That is your action.
no, that was my bonus action.
I'm changing that to an action next time I update you.
You've been saying that since the beginning of the
Yeah, but now I'm feeling the
now I'm doing it.
patch 1.1735 is coming out next week.
What if I describe it really cool?
Nope.
Damn it. All right. Well, it's cool nonetheless.
Anyway.
So that was my bonus action. So then I know I'm grappled, but that still means I can attack, right? With disadvantage.
Yes, you can attack with
Okay.
disadvantage.
All right. I'm gonna try and like work my way around these freaking spider sword legs, and I'm gonna pull out Caleb's blade and try and stab it right in the mouth.
Go for it.
All right. Oh no, that's not gonna do anything. That's 15.
That does not hit.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Okay. Well,
Huron,
done.
you're up. And then Timber, you're on deck.
I mean, it's possible, I'm sure, but Elspeth, Taramran, Robert, all of them, did they roll lower than Timber?
No. I mean, some of them actually did roll lower than you, but
Classic. Just curious. I mean,
no, that's a good point. I'd say Embla actually rolled higher than you, so I'll have her attack.
I just want to not have to do anything.
Guess what? You get that because she rolled a natural 20, which is a lot of damage. Yeah, fuck it. Just on her sneak attack alone, she killed the thing. So she watches this creature is gnawing into Scarlet. There's this one on its back in front of Cal. Then Embla finally marches up and just brings her sword, sinking into the chest, into the back of the creature grappled to Wiswick. As you watch, they all simultaneously die. And squeal in pain as they all die, seemingly having shared a health pool. Cannot die unless all of them die.
Huh. Interesting.
Or is it?
Okay, Scarlet's gonna like ew. Get the spider off.
Yeah, Wiswick and Scarlet both feel the spiders kind of slack off of them and slide down as the green light within them dissipates.
So Sean, are these things like they're organic, correct? Like, you know, you've described them as, you know, sword claws and like mandibles and fire within them. When you say that, it almost makes me think of a construct-esque.
Give me an
entity.
investigation, medicine, or any int check you want, or unless there's something else you can justify.
I was gonna do something similar, so can I try?
An arcana, medicine, or
Nature.
check would suffice.
Natural one.
They
Makes an
real-
11. Makes
they
an
real-
11.
They real scary.
That should hurt.
Well, if we're gonna go with medicine, because that's my highest, so 24.
They, in kind of examining them, you kind of like with your staff or with a knife or something, kind of lift some of the plates off of them. They seem like a weird combination of organic and construct. Like they look almost like they're made of stone or mineral. But you can see this like green liquid leaking out of them. They're somewhere between organic and construct. There is 100% a constructed aspect to them. But it is infused with organic.
Okay. Looking up at Elspeth and Terramran, Kieran will go, have either of you ever seen anything like this before?
You see Terramran is hiding any fear, but Elspeth is wide-eyed and terrified. It's like, "Oh, I've seen nothing like this. I've patrolled these woods for years. No creatures like this. Nothing like this."
Checking on Scarlet and Wiswick, they're not poisoned, right?
No. They have these like, it's like when like cloth is burned a little and there's singes. You can see on their armor or any clothing that was touched by the mandibles, there is singe
have
marks. Her clothes. Oh man, you should have taken the armor off of that dead guy about 50 feet back.
Oh fuck.
Anyway,
We're not a loot heavy party generally.
Yeah.
especially the dead who die.
Like
in
it's like
character.
we wait until Sean is like, "This is your reward."
Yeah, I have to be like, and here from the heavens, your dagger of return.
They were like, "Oh yes, this was meant for me, so now I will have this one, and we will move on." It's
You're
kinda
also-
like I searched this body.
You're also the kind of people like, I don't feel magic on this. Throw it out.
Yeah. I mean, other than that, it's Wiswick. It's like No, get the thing!
But anyway,
You know, you guys bring up a great point. Maybe I'll just do a mile-long detect magic right now.
and I'll just say, if you do
And
that, you're
nerfed.
blinded by the Fey magic all around you, and you can't detect anything. Except stuff within 30 feet. But things calm for a moment after these spider corpses start to do that spider thing where they collapse into that curled position. As you look at them, kind of Elspeth saying, this has never happened before. You can go for a few more hours and make camp if you want to get there in the morning. She's visibly shaken, like this is not what she expected in ranging you through here.
Let's be a little bit more quiet. Proceeding.
Agreed.
I cast a Path Without Trace.
Okay.
I put my hood up of the cloak.
I'll say with all of those buffs, you're able to quietly move through the woods for the rest of the night. Every now and then you do freak out when you hear just like a bird leave a branch and you hear like the crumbling of some dust as you're now much more aware. There's barely any life though. So like anything that's going to attack you is coming from the stillness of the forest, which is even more frightening. But eventually you find your way to a point where you move closer to the riverside and pinpoint some stonework to try to find some cover. Where Elspeth starts a fire, Taramron starts to cook up a meal, and you all tensely find somewhere to rest for the evening.
Upon reaching this, Kieran, are we within 1 mile of the light pillar?
No, I'd say you're a couple miles away.
How long would it take Kieran to ride within 1 mile?
2 hours at least.
And what's the time currently?
It is 10 o'clock at night. I'll take that back. 9 o'clock at night. You guys decide to bed early, so I'm gonna say it's more like 8:39.
Okay. So what I wanted to do was have Kieran go out, scout using clairvoyance, which is a mile radius. Is that possible, and still returning to do a long rest?
Yes.
Which is 4
Yes.
hours. Okay.
I'd say you would use use up all your non-resting time.
Right. Okay. So as the party reaches the spot, Kieran's going to, staying on Rocco, kind of call down to them. Since I only have to rest for 4 hours as opposed to your longer rests, I think I will head forward a bit to use some magic and get a better lay of the land for tomorrow.
Yeah, but if you get attacked, then your tiny hut will disappear, and then we're all in danger.
Well, he has to be inside the hut for it to work.
Right.
Oh. Well, that's not good. We need your hut.
Send Jet with him.
There was a point when Wisbit could have learned Tiny Hut.
It's true. He almost
But he
did
threw
too.
it out.
Because
Because
Huron
buddy.
was supposed to be a team player.
Look, I had just transferred to Twilight Domain. I don't know what you want.
Anyway,
I got a cool amulet out of the deal. It's okay.
that's true. So you all find respite in this small rocky outcropping mingled with ruins. You look upon the ruins, they are so weathered and worn that they're barely discernible. You see what appears to be the half cheek of some statue from far off in the past, and then pillars and strange small statues that stick out of the water of the riverside, since you are close to the river. None of it makes much sense other than just being
to the normal eye natural landscape because it's so old. Huron, you slowly but surely wander northward, deeper in Ponderoco, through the twilight forest. And get within what you think to be a mile of this structure because you can very clearly see a pillar of light coming from it.
All right. So getting to that point, going to cast clairvoyance. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to place this sensor in the air high up, but right below where the light is emanating from, so as to not have like a glare from it.
Okay.
As he's looking, because the idea is to start with sight looking down around.
Okay. So within that mile, you're essentially placing it as close as you can to the camp.
Right.
Okay. Give me a perception check.
Gladly. 24.
There are fires burning, but they burn a bright red color that seems unnatural. And the strands within the fire that you'd ordinarily think are white or yellow are green. So this reddish green flames flickering within the encampment, while this large pillared crystal just sort of every now and then just pulses with light. And the small structure beneath it emanates very dim green and red lights behind what you can only surmise is either ice or water that blocks the entrances to this structure. You see no people. You see no moving bodies, no signs of any presence within the camp, no matter how long you watch.
So if Kieran switches to audio like halfway through, is there anything else he might pick up from that? Because it's either sight or
just a low thrumming. No sounds of people,
right?
Horses, commotion whatsoever. It's a ghost town as far as you're concerned.
Going to, after the 10 minutes of looking, cast clairvoyance again within that structure beneath the crystal.
Okay. Your clairvoyant eye is immediately rebuffed by a wall of water.
So it is water, it's not ice.
You can clarify that it is water that does not let you through into the structure. You can notice that it is a larger structure that has a lower level and an upper level. The lower level has 4 entrances to it that are just essentially archway doors on each side of the square structure that are all held shut by water walls. You see no humanoids whatsoever, no moving anything within the camp around that.
All right. With that information, Kieran will whisper down to Rocco in Elvish, of course, because he's gonna be like, "All right, Rocco, we've done what we've come to do. Let's head back to the others." And brings them around.
Easily enough, you head back with no issue to find your own rest with this new knowledge of what lays at the camp. As you all awake the next morning, roughly 3.5, 4 hours away from your destination. You awake very early, probably around 4 a.m. The sun has not risen yet. As you're you're awakening, or you are awakening each other if you're struggling to wake up at this time. But the sun has not risen yet, though you can see that very thin orange line on the horizon.
What is our plan of attack? As we're getting ready to take off. Kieran, do you know any more information from your scouting last night?
So, from what I was able to see, it looks like there's no thing or no one currently in the camp. There's a number of fires around it, though they were not natural by my eye.
Here,
Beneath-
I
Yes,
say, kicking a patch of dirt clear. Sketch it for us.
and Kieran picks with the, I guess, with the end of his. Actually, he'll ask Scarlet for his staff back for a moment and uses it to etch into the dirt. You know, that apparently.
Just to clarify, short rest, long rest.
Long rest.
Thank you.
So what he sketches essentially is, outside of what I've shown you on the battle map that might come up later, is there are more camps outside of that. They're just superfluous in the sense of there's like tents and whatnot and much smaller barricades. But then there is an internal walled structure in the center that has this centralized location where the crystal is emanating, and then several tents and palisade walls around it.
Well, it strikes me that any prisoners would be in this central palisade. Was there anything that was clearly a cage or a prison or anything that would be clearly marked as such?
The DM didn't describe anything, no.
Wiswick is looking at the drawing and sees the giant pointy part, and it's just biting his knuckles like.
All right, so they would be in one of these structures. Then these are tents, you said, and then these this is a big stone construction, and this is
Right.
Yeah, basically what you see. Actually, Kieran, give me a quick history check. Actually,
Whoa. You got it, boss.
but mainly it's palisade walls, only one stone structure, and then everything else around it is tents and like workshop areas that are makeshift to support what you surmise is this central tower.
18.
You've heard stories of the only thing in your mind this reminds you of is a bullshit excuse, a shitty replication, a simulacrum of a lay sanctum.
So, wait, I've heard stories of people that have tried to replicate a lay sanctum. And
Yes.
to my knowledge, this is what it might look like if they were to do that.
Correct.
Okay.
In the worst way possible. Like, so janky. Like, especially considering in Elysia, you can wander into a mountain valley and see a giant floating castle and understand, oh, that's some fuck from 20,000 years ago, like lay sanctum. Like some
Right.
shitty baron from the old world who built a shitty floating castle that is ruining our land. And then you see this bullshit. This sort of like, we ramshackled together a lay sanctum.
so.
Don't we think it's odd that there's nobody here? Or that you know there's nobody there?
Of course it's odd. There is also magic preventing my scurrying to enter into that structure. The waterfalls, the water barriers seem to repel magic.
Thinking about the way Thatcher disguised himself. Is it possible they were using magic to conceal the occupants?
Of course, but that would have been a lot of magic to have that many individuals invisible.
Oh,
Unless
another
it-
thing you noticed, Kieran, sorry, I forgot to mention this, because I wasn't prepared for you to have an all-seeing eye in the camp, was clusters of red crystals
Ah, I
like
see those.
almost calcified around. Like they don't look like they were
Ow.
like they don't they don't look like they were like they put crystals there. They look literally like calcified deposits that have developed onto the camp.
And would
Oh,
they
look.
remind me of anything?
These do not.
Okay.
They. So, a little bit of background. I think I might have mentioned before that my wife, she is a wizard, or knowledgeable of the arcane arts. She was quite good at it. It's likely that she's imprisoned within that dome that cannot be penetrated by magic.
Alex, I say it's cool to share the battle map with the chat now.
Okay, it's cool, according to DM.
Don't do it. It's a trap.
So that follows, and yes, while nobody in the camp is definitely concerning, I say I don't think we have any option other than to go in anyway, right? If your wife is there, we have to get her out. So
That is my plan as well. I want to take the slow approach. When we get close, we stealth in.
oh, agreed. I have an idea. So the reason I wanted to get us there around sunrise is because that's going to be when whatever guards are on duty are going to be at their most tired before the shift change, right? So if we post up 2 people on the far end of camp, prepared to make a distraction if necessary, and the rest of us go in quick and quiet, and just get into the palisade before the rest of these camps can wake up and come after us. If they do come after us immediately, we'll have a defensible position. If not, preferably we'll be in and out before they start to really round. Pending to changes based on further information.
That is a good plan A. We don't
You
really
get,
have a
you
plan.
let's
notice
go.
that Wiswick is just like nodding his head, just like half listening, and you see he's taking some fervent notes in his notebook.
We can also use Wizwick's looking over Wizwick's invisibility magic to infiltrate the camp and verify it's empty.
Can you get us all invisible?
Between the 2 of us, we could.
I'm sorry, what?
The rest of us might have
Were
to
you
stay
talking to me?
behind if you're going to do that.
So I was thinking that you 2 should post up as a distraction and potentially lead enemies off if the camp is to be alerted.
We most certainly can do that if you'd like.
You're the ones who could move through the forest the fastest for sure.
This is true. Those who try to escape, we can stop them. But if you need us, just call out. We come.
I could burn a 4th level spell slot and turn it should be
What?
3 people invisible.
Okay.
That's about as good as I can do.
I don't think it's necessary for us all to go in invisible if there's no one within the camp.
I don't need to be invisible. I have my cloak.
Let's figure this out as we get closer.
Correct. Let's get the move on.
That's the
Sure.
basic plan. You 2 are on the far end. You're gonna circle around, get in position, and be on hand for the distraction or move into his tent.
With your friend's aid here, I think you all know the way. If you don't mind, Taramran and I am going to go ahead and ensure that we can know the perimeter in our forms.
Excellent. Thank you.
As you see Taramran immediately turns into the griffin, and you see her turn into a little tiny hawk that
Oh.
kind of flies off with him.
I think as he's flying away, Wiswick's like, "Wait, Termron, how much can you lift in that form? I really need to know. This is important."
As you just hear that in the distance, just a loud.
Wiswick's dream is to ride an eagle and shoot mile-long fireballs from above.
Oh, don't worry. There's gonna be the climactic final battle of this campaign where Wiswick is definitely gonna be on the back of Taramran, raining nukes onto some enemy army.
I was more along the lines of dreaming the fact that he would be hugging a giant
glowing crystal that was being carried by an eagle. But hey.
I see. I see. So the rest of you make your way closer to the encampment to try to scout it out, right?
Yeah.
All right. Who's scouting up ahead?
I am.
Huron.
Imagine Curon, Cal, Timber, maybe.
So 3 out of the 3. 3 out of the 7, I should say.
Yeah.
I cast mage armor.
Okay. Curon,
Vigilant lesson.
Cal, and Timber, give me perception checks or investigation checks.
Oh, that's where the money's at.
21.
27.
What was it, Cal?
16. It's the only thing I roll for perception check, Sean.
Cal, you're way too concerned with the patrols of imaginary guards. Curon and Timber notice as you approach slowly, the rain is heavy at this point. It's that, that like deep rainy storm where it almost feels like the horizon is green. How much the clouds are storming. It's fucking nothing. You approach these blown open gates that look almost like they're just open. They're not like off their hinges, they're just open. The rain is pouring down the palisades. As you see palisades within, deeper in. You see no guards whatsoever. A few torch lights in the distance, but silence. What do?
Before moving into the palisade, I'm going to nod towards the closest cluster of tents.
Yeah, and we'll branch off.
Because we should invest. I want to investigate those. Make sure that if we go in here, we're not leaving.
Yeah.
A trap behind us.
So you're entering into the
well,
first
I'm actually, let me do this first. I would get off.
So let me just explain. Like there's a surrounding palisade wall, and there's an interior palisade wall where you see the sanctums.
Okay.
And within the 2 are the number of smaller camps that Huron
Exactly.
All right. So if we get when we get to the first palisade, like in the best part of tree cover, I'm gonna get off my horse, give Robert the reins, and tell him, all right, wait here, keep an eye out, move if anyone comes after you, but just keep the horses ready to go.
Yeah, of course. Cool.
I tap him on the shoulder confidently, and then start to move in with the rest of the team.
So you start to head towards the gate tentatively, because there's always the discomfort of the no man's land between the forest line and the gate, because it is a solid 100 feet between the forest line and the gate. They felled trees. They're not leaving open land here or thick forest if they were actually defending this space. But you approach slowly, and it's just nothing. No guards in the gatehouse. You enter in, and you don't see anyone. No people, just sort of sitting around.
How tense was the music as we crossed No Man's Land, Sean? My follow-up question is, did you watch 1917?
I did, and it's exactly that.
Music swell is that. Okay, cool.
100%. It's 100% 1917 the movie. You just sort of like, at any point, a fucking bullet could go through my head at this in this fucking entire wasteland of mud and blood and bodies and strange corpse-like things jutting out of the ground that are supposed to be barricades. And the mud is just for a second, Timber, the mud runs red in your mind. And then you're like, oh, no, I'm not dreaming.
I love you very much, Sean.
You move through. You're in the outer camp at this point.
Did we burst through the doors tactically and are just like
any tent you burst into, you flourish the tent flap back and look in, sword ablaze. Cook pots, bedrolls, nothing.
How recently do they look like they've been used?
3 weeks, maybe.
Ooh.
The only thing that's out of the ordinary are these clusters of red crystals all about.
and they have not a deep glow, but a light glow, and you can almost like for a moment they almost look like within them are like candle smoke moving around in them.
Wiswick immediately is intrigued and goes to the closest crystal.
Okay, what would you like to do?
He just inspects it, giving anybody a time to chime in. And he pulls his pickaxe out and he begins to carefully excavate it from the ground.
I think Cal would be like trying to make sure that Timber and somebody else, at least Scarlet probably is with him, and we're like moving on the door, the next set of palisade doors, you know.
Yeah.
Rapido.
So Wiswick, you hit it with your pickaxe?
Essentially, I don't want to damage it because cracking it would be something that he wouldn't want. He want
A
to keep
landmine.
the crystal. So essentially he's trying to dig around it.
Anyone who looks at Wiswick, he vanishes.
Oh, knew that
It's-
was gonna happen.
It's a moment where his pickaxe hits it, and he's sucked into what looks like a tiny point in space. And then you're like, fuck! And you look around, and Wiswick, suddenly, you are on top of one of the palisade walls.
The outer or inner?
Inner.
Is there?
You've
other
appeared in
crystals?
front of another batch of crystals.
I touched the crystal again.
You're back where you originally hit them.
These things are awesome.
Is this our way in?
Keep it down and don't touch anything.
Yes, don't.
As
But
Cal is trying to keep everyone with him as we move into the door, because standing here in between these two walls is a great way to die.
Yeah.
If there's anyone still here.
So essentially, it's like there's this like half donut that hugs around the inner palisade wall, with on the slightly off center to the other side is the gatehouse to the next section. So you can kind of essentially you're moving along the length to make it to that gatehouse. You've entered into one side of a two-gated outer palisade.
guys, listen to me though. These crystals, they teleport you to different locations within the camp.
Yeah, we saw. We just don't have time to deal with it right now. Let's clear the camp first.
I'm saying that we might be able to get further in faster if we just grab a crystal.
That's
Sure.
also a great way to
We
get
already
cut
know
off.
this one's safe.
Curon, as you're all moving like one step at a time through this tense no man's land, you suddenly notice there are just splatters of blood on the ground. As if there was a fight, but whatever participants are gone. You just see like sort of like as if someone got their chest slashed through. There's no bodies or evidence of the fight.
Inspecting it, is the blood dried and old?
Probably about 3 weeks old.
All right, good to know. Coincides with, I don't know. Kieran's going to, he bends down to look at it, smears his finger through the mud, and no, he probably doesn't smell it. He's not a ranger. And gets up and kind of looking at.
Yeah,
You're
but
a ranger,
he would
listen to it.
He would absolutely be able to touch it and feel the coagulation and understand it's how old it is. Most
Right. And then gives a sidelong look to Timber before saying out loud, "There's a massive battle here. The bodies no longer remain, but the blood that was spilled does." And he kind of gestures to the blood.
Couldn't have been much of one. All the tents are still standing.
Right.
Could have been
That's-
extremely methodical, clean, and quick.
That could have been anybody's blood, though. And it's not a lot, given the camp size. What about this building?
Keep moving.
The
Let's keep moving. We'll deal with it later.
Water wall.
We're not there yet.
I'm still keeping an eye out, Sean, to see if anybody's following us.
No one's following you. You're alone.
Kieran's going to stride more boldly towards the gateway into the inner sanctum. Glaive drawn and at his side. Hand
Wiswick-
resting. Sorry.
No, you're good. Wiswick follows Kieran but is paying very close attention to the crystals, expecting there to be some sort of ambush that comes through them. So maybe just like pushing Huron away whenever like our path leads too close to a crystal, like where like somebody might be able to just jump out and grab them, pull them in, or something like that.
Absolutely. So the crystals cluster around edges of buildings and tents, almost like they erupted out from a central point. No one's here. You step through the gates of this central quarter. You see the campsite is in wreck. Like bags flung all over the place. You see the two main tents are standing there while the rest of the tents are kind of scattered about. You see a tower to your right, the only kind of like watchtower here, and there's clusters of this red crystal all along it. You see these low burning sconces and braziers that burn with this light red color. And you see before you this peaking tower with a jagged gem shooting up into the sky that just sort of, as you can see, some lights behind what appear to be magical water-based walls. If nothing more than, like, it almost appears as if the entire interior of the structure is water. Crystals all over, bloodstains all over. And like they you can, Kieran, you can like see the battle. Like you can see where someone was like cut down on the palisade wall and they fell off the back of it and their blood cascades down, but there's no body.
Is the water free flowing, or is it just like a cube of water?
It flows freely, but it is ultimately restrained by a cube like structure.
So it doesn't look pressurized in any way. Like if I were to put
No.
my hand into it, it would just be regular water.
As far as you can tell, you could swim into the water.
Huron's gonna walk right up to that water and just stare into it, trying to.
There is
figure
a
it out.
small glittering red dot at the center of it.
There's something in there.
Let's Q, could I borrow your staff or your glaive real quick?
Huron passes it to Timber.
And Timber's just gonna try to slowly poke in.
It's a little too deep. You might have to walk in to get it.
Okay. I first test like a nail. And then my hand, and then
Huron's gonna hold on to his other hand as he goes. He's gonna be like, "Take my hand."
Alex was making fun of me off stream because I wanted to buy a 15-foot pole, but hey.
hey.
What are the rest of you doing while Timber is about to potentially, with Kieran's aid, step into the water?
I'm standing behind with
Yeah.
Caleb's blade out, just like really tense. Just didn't like this at all.
Yeah, I'm security.
Huron,
No.
Wiswick's just like impatiently tapping his foot on the ground, and he's like,
I could just Misty Step across. We could find another way. We don't have to go through this.
Timber's face is probably in it already.
So, Timber, you see Embla's kind of like with her blade, like picking over things on the ground, kind of investigating every now and then. Exactly, almost identical to Cal. She behaves a lot like Cal.
But she's a rogue.
Exactly.
Cal's really a rogue.
So Timber, you approach this water and you have the quarterstaff. Do you step into the water?
Yeah. I've been like nail, hand, arm, body, face. But I'm also
Huron.
holding on to Kieran.
Kieran's holding on to him to pull him out should, anything start going wrong.
Timber, you immediately enter the water. And it's like any water. You can't breathe. You have to hold your breath. It's murky. You see before you several lights that are just sort of inorganically lit. You see some flames that shouldn't be lit. You see some green orbs. But most importantly, there are 4 entrances to this structure, and they all have this airwave that shoots to this central, singular, glowing red crystal that looks like it is shaking with so much energy. Like there is like a million suns compacted into this singular crystal, and it's just as you can see, the water around it is steaming and boiling. The water is very hot when you enter it. Not so hot that it assuades you, but you can just, all you see is just sort of this like vibrating crystal in the middle.
I'm gonna pull myself back out real quick and look over at Kieran, and he's just gonna whisper to him, "I'm going to do something stupid." And
I thought that was Wismut's job.
slowly, and I am desperate. Let go. And Timber's gonna let go of Kieran's hand,
And Timber, when you enter back into the water, there is a small voice in the back of your head, familiar, vicious, voidified voice that just says, so quietly, deep in the back of your head, let go. Let go. What do you do?
I already did. Damn
go,
it, Sean!
Timber.
You don't have to.
Let it
You know.
Can't hold it back anymore.
Alex, this is what it's like to be the golden child.
No.
What do you do?
No, now he's questioning himself. But he lets go.
So Timber, you kind of enter into this vortex and can't breathe anymore. You look around. You just sort of start to float in the water. And you watch as the stave that you took from Kieran just sort of floats there in front of you. For a moment, you're just sort of letting yourself waiting for something to happen. As if by fate or some other force, the staff just touches the crystal. And you watch it just sort of as you feel this eruption of power around you. As the water wall, everyone outside just sort of shoots out, scattering all about. Those of you close by get pushed back 10 feet. It's not an explosion like the big boom, as you heard, but just sort of this rattling, just as you feel this steam of some of the water all around you. Timber is pushed back out. As you're pushed out of the house, the sanctum, the crystal in the center just sort of starts to grow, almost like as if you were to look at like a hyper fast reel of like mollusks growing in the bottom of a ship, and then suddenly just sort of like these chains come out of the corners of the wall and wrap around the crystal. And you just watch as a single light just sort of shoots up from the crystal into the upper spire-like crystal. As all of you watch this blue crystal turn red, as you see all the crystals around you just start to all light up. And you see these single pillars of red light just sort of all fall down as you see a Highland Syndicate grunt just sort of slice forward as you see this creature, black scales, green lights from under its carapace cut into the body of this creature as this fight is immediately resumed all around you. You just hear chaos all around you as these creatures are fighting these syndicate members. And then Curon falling back to your feet. You look up as the singular light of this red light just sort of... As you suddenly see a scythe come down and electrify against a magical shield. As you see Reyna stop with a magical shield as this creature hovering over her, twice her size, sinks this scythe down onto her. Its flesh is this piecemeal black stone that looks like dragon scales almost in the way that it hovers, like some kind of construct over a burning green core, as it rips this blade down into the shield of your wife. And that's where we're going to end tonight.
Oof.
And what, that sentence and then keep going? or-
Yeah, it's okay.
And now we enter the second half of the night. No. As you've resumed the battle of this facility, you see your wife before you fighting some strange soul-powered construct with a scythe in front of her, as all around you there's this battle ensuing. Like literally, like Scarlet, you're like lifting up like a tent curtain as suddenly a bandit appears in front of you, just screaming as a bug-like creature that looks a lot like this rips a claw into his chest. You all watch as this battle erupts around you, seemingly locked in time in some way before your arrival.
Well, really knocked the hornet's nest on that one, huh?
Really did step on that. Yeah.
Thank you,
Well,
everyone who joined us tonight for some adventures and for
In
this
Paradise?
Adventures in Paradise, as we've stumbled upon some sort of mid-forest time battle.
Happening.
Who Timber's wife is involved in, after Timber received a cryptic dream from whoever's trying to take control of him. Thank you for joining us, and I hope that you all join us next week to continue this glorious adventure. Check out
A new show,
a new show on Wednesday nights,
Cardboard Contenders.
Cardboard Contenders, with our lovely host, Clayton,
Hey.
7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time
That's correct.
on Wednesday
Thanks
night,
for running
starting
it
this
for me.
week. Starting this week. So join us in 2 days. And then after that, on Thursday night, you can join me for Relaxing in Paradise as I build more of these props for this set that I didn't have built in time for this. You can see there are some just random foam walls that are supposed to represent Palisades. I literally only have this Palisade tower.
Is that the one you built on stream?
No, this one I built on my own. This one I built on stream.
Ah, okay.
Very, very
Very
cool.
cool.
Okay.
Guys, we're so spoiled.
Yeah.
But
Well, not really.
I'll be building those on Thursday night and talking about shit and playing Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, which is
Not if you have that many walls to build, you won't be.
I know. Shut up, Tim. I'll be playing it and just continually, and I'd say, Alex, you should watch because I didn't intend for it, but upon playing the game, a lot of that story has a lot to do with your story.
The voices sound just like Hellblade.
I didn't intend it, but it happened.
You'll float too. You'll float too. You'll
But
float
anyway,
too.
also I guess Pennywise.
That's just what I got out of it.
And then join us on Sunday for the return of the Tim and Shannon Power Hour.
Yeah, we'll
Is
we'll actually be there on Sunday, we promise.
You muted yourself, Sean, somehow.
Thanks, everyone. Good night.
Yeah, have a good night, everybody.
Have a good one, folks. See you later,
See you
motherfuckers.
later. Take care. Join us next week. Love you. Bye.